Bam, bam, we're live. I take
Amazing.
100% responsibility for the naming of the show, even though I didn't name it, and I could give two
Okay.
shits. I could give two shits if you're natty or not, but I also think you are natty. I just saw the title.
Yeah,
Someone
no,
on
I
someone
saw
on
the
my
title
team
as
named
well.
it. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, that's I laughed. When I saw it, I laughed.
Someone on my team is a better marketer than I am, I guess.
That's all right, man. That's good.
But
That's good.
I
You have a
do
good
believe
team.
you are. If someone had to ask me to bet 2 inches of my penis whether you were natty or not, I would go with natty.
All right. Well, I guarantee you still have that 2 inches after that
Thank
bet.
you. You know why? You know why I think you are natty, just from the aesthetic point of view, is always those guys who start doing steroids. I feel like they start getting these trippy capsules on their shoulder. Not
Yeah,
trippy; they're cool looking.
delts. Yeah, just really pronounced deltoids. I know
That's
exactly
what
what you're
these
saying.
are. These things on the
That's correct.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I always had nice shoulders, but mine never did that thing where it looks like I'm wearing
Yeah.
shoulder pads.
Well, I mean, again, a lot of it's genetic. Like me, I'm not a guy that's ever had big delts. Like that's not a strong body part for me. But I mean, if you looked at me, I've looked the same way for probably the past 10 or 15 years. I've always, been around 200, fluctuated between 195 and 205 pounds. I've always been pretty lean and in shape, but I've always been training. And I mean, the weights I lift are nothing incredible. So
They are incredible. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say that, man. But first off, I'd like to thank you for having me on your podcast, man. It's an honor to be here, and I genuinely appreciate it.
Oh, brother, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on.
Dude,
I stumbled across your Instagram account and I was like, holy shit, this guy's speaking my language.
Well, man, I appreciate that. It's been strange, like the past, I'd say like 7 or 8 days. My Instagram growth has been, incredible. So it's like, I don't know what happened, if the algorithm changed or some people just finally caught on, but I've gained like, I don't know, I want to say 50 or 60,000 followers just in the past 8 days.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was at 35,000, I think, right around when you reached at me, and like, I'm getting close to 90 right now. So I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea I haven't changed anything. I've been very consistent with posting on social media for a while. And I think maybe I'm very fortunate. I just may have hit a tipping point. I'm not really sure.
Well, I'm glad I found you when I did, because ever since I lost my blue check mark account, and then my second account is so shadow banned. So once people I can't get big people. It's hard for me to get people who have huge followings anymore, because I can't get them in the DMs. So I'm glad I got you. And now you're fucked, because I have your phone number, so I can just text you.
No, dude. Well, honestly, when you reached out to me, I saw the message. I was like, Sevan Matosi, and I was like, holy shit. Thanks, Sean. I was amazed, man, because and forgive me that I don't know more about you, but I know you're the man for CrossFit as far as, all their media and things like that. And
yeah, well,
I've been doing CrossFit for over 10 years. So, I'm like, I was well aware of who you were, and I was very pleasantly surprised that you reached out to me and would actually want to have me on your podcast. So genuinely, it's an honor.
I didn't even know until I listened to two podcasts you did back to back. And last night I was listening to one after drinking a couple bottles of wine with some friends.
I saw your Instagram reel.
And then I came back.
100 burpees.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, Tanner. All right, I'll do it. And I'm usually pretty motivated. I can't even remember the last time I didn't work out, but it showed me by listening. They say that you are the 5 people you surround yourself by, and I wholeheartedly believe that we're all mirrors here, mirroring each other.
I do as well.
And when I was listening to those podcasts back to back, and then I came inside, you and I hate this word, but you influenced me, and I just stopped everything I was doing and did 100 burpees, and my family joined in, which was nuts.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw that reel when I was having breakfast this morning, and I shared it again on my story, and I was genuinely honored. And if I'm not a fan of the word influencer either, and like. But if I can have an influence on anyone just to live a happier and healthier life, then that's very fulfilling to me. So I'm happy to hear that.
And I didn't even know you were a CrossFitter. When I invited you on, I had no idea.
Yeah. So, man, I've been doing CrossFit hard for like over 10 years. And I mean, honestly, I've had quite a bit of success with it, but no one really knows because I've had so many injuries. And so the last time,
16 surgeries.
Yeah, legitimately 16 orthopedic surgeries. I spent over 3 years of my life in a wheelchair or on crutches. So I've dealt with a fair amount of adversity in my life, more than most people, but far less than many.
Right.
So yeah,
that is a long time, especially since so many of us, working out is a way of life. I don't have any mental health issues, but my cocaine is 100 burpees,
man, no, mine as well. Like I've said it numerous times. I am like addicted to exercise. It's the best way to get your dopamine and endorphins and all that. There's numerous ways you can get it, but vigorous exercise is definitely the best way, the most healthy way,
and the easy road to mental clarity. Because when I'm
for sure,
those last 50 burpees, I'm not like thinking about that flat tire that's on my car or the fact that did I pay my mortgage payment. I'm like, it's all about just breathing.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of that free spiritual journey too.
Yes, I've discovered like I have my biggest moments of clarity, or I create a lot of my best content just off the cuff right after a workout or during a workout when I don't know what it is. The chemical balance in my brain is on, but it's like your brain's firing on all cylinders, especially when you get that endorphin and dopamine release. So I'm definitely addicted to it.
Yeah. What time is it where you're at?
It's 7:12 p.m. and I'm located in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Okay. And you've worked out already today?
I have, yes.
Because when my podcast, it's 7 a.m. here, and when my podcasts aren't at 7 a.m., if they're at any other time, I always work out before the podcast. And usually it's just 10 minutes on the assault bike and 100 burpees or something.
That's amazing.
Just something simple. But I do it to cheat, to make sure I'm the most alert I can be when I go on the podcast.
Yes.
I love to just finish my workout 30 minutes before, cold shower, and then get in front of the camera.
I know. I think there's been scientific studies that have shown that your cognitive function, or it's just enhanced right after a workout. It's better, and everyone feels more awake, more alert, probably more happy. First thing I do when I wake up is I eat breakfast, and then I go upstairs and I swim for 10 minutes, and then I take a cold shower. So very similar morning routines. That's just for me, and I wouldn't consider that a workout, but more just as a way to wake up and get my mind right, to start the day.
Do you think that, I keep thinking I'm going to play this video, but do you think that because you've been had 16 surgeries, that sounds like the perfect workout in the morning for either someone who's older or someone who's nursing,
right?
Some injuries, to basically go into a weightless environment.
Yes.
And then put the body in stress. It seems, I haven't heard that before, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, fuck, that's brilliant.
No, it makes perfect sense. And that's a big reason why I've done it. So I've had numerous injuries, lower limb injuries, shoulder surgeries and things like that. And so I've found the swimming pool just to be a great way to move my body and also enhance my breathing and get my heart rate up a little bit. And it's easy. It's not hard on my body. It doesn't hurt my joints. I mean, because I'm hard enough on my body as it is. I also have an assault bike at my house, and I use that as well. But normally I prefer going outside. And so when I can be outside, I just jump in a pool for 10 minutes and go, and it works for me.
Christian Faison, Tanner is the man. I'll be the determinant of that. But thank you for the...
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you. Caleb, I'm so glad you're here, buddy. I started panicking. God, I've become so needy. I've become so soft. When I don't see you on the back end, brother, I panic.
Hi, Caleb.
Hi, Pam.
Hey, how's it going?
Caleb, Tanner, Caleb.
Pleasure.
I'm going to play this video here, and then after this, I'm going to relinquish the controls to Caleb. But these are the kind of things that it's hard. Well, it's hard to be unique in this space, but I'm just loving Tanner's stuff. I'm absolutely loving it. Here we go.
Sense nutrition advice. Do you know why you're fat and feel like shit? Red meat. That's what's killing you. It has nothing to do with the fact that you drink alcohol regularly, sleep only 5 hours a night, rarely exercise, watch the news and live in a cycle of negativity. Don't get outside and eat a bunch of highly processed shit food. So if you want to get healthy, here's how to do it. Eliminate all personal responsibility. Never hold yourself accountable for the foods you eat or lack of physical activity. And lastly, blame all your life's problems on everyone else. Because remember, nothing's ever your fault, and it has nothing to do with your negative attitude and unwillingness to help yourself. And if that doesn't work, just eliminate another entire food group like eggs or dairy, and then start this process all over again. Common sense.
When you think of this, are you just giggling inside? Are you just like, yeah, this is fucking crazy that I'm going to do this?
Are
you just like
it's more or less giggling? I'd say I just everyone's saying the same thing, especially on social media, especially if you're a trainer, everyone's saying the same thing. And so I just knew if I wanted people to hear what I was saying and for it to resonate with them, you needed to say it in a way where it really makes people think about what they're doing, their behavior and things like that. So, and it's just how ridiculous some things are these days, especially with health and nutrition. I just wanted to put it in a way where it kind of makes people like realize like, whoa, holy shit, man. It's crazy. It's kind of profound in a way. So I don't giggle, but I put it in a way where people aren't expecting to hear it. And so it actually makes them think about their behavior.
That's my whole podcast. I could just stop doing podcasts and just every morning at 7 a.m. instead of going live, I could just play that and save everyone.
Yeah, I've done quite a few pieces of content, kind of using that method of reverse psychology, or saying exactly what you would not expect me to say, and I've gotten quite a bit of positive feedback with it. So I think it helps people. That's why I do it.
Kyle Landis. The sad thing is, some people don't realize he's being sarcastic. You know what's funny, Kyle, is I was watching that last night, and my wife was sitting next to me, and it actually took me a few seconds too, because she saw the meat thing and she looked over and she's like, oh, here we go again. And then, 10 more seconds in, she figured out, oh, he's being.
So for anyone that, I'm a huge proponent of eating high quality animal foods, and I eat red meat every day, multiple times a day. And I feel great, and I'm quite confident I'm healthier than, or at least fitter than most people. I'd say that.
Let me show you a crazy video someone sent me this morning. Caleb, do you see the one where it says added sugar? I saw this. I don't think people realize how badly you can mess up your hormones by eating sugar, and that if you consume it on a massive, massive scale, you'll do irreversible damage to your this is my opinion. This is my opinion, just from the little bit of facts that I know about hormones. You will, especially if you give it to young kids, you will change the course of their life forever, and there will be no turning around. It's like if you bend the frame on a car, you can bend bend the frame on that car, and the car's totaled, and you will not ever be able to get that frame straight again. And if you consume too much sugar, especially at a young age, you'll have all sorts of genital issues also. Your testicles and your penis won't develop correctly, and there's some crazy shit that can happen to you. But as you get older, you will retard yourself. You will cause it so that your brain can't even think clearly. And I've talked about it like this before. This is kind of my own thing. The very first thing we all want to do, the most important thing, is we want to breathe. And then once we get breathing down, it's probably food. And then somewhere in there, and these two battle back and forth, is shelter and sex. Those two, I think are interchangeable. And if anything gets in that hierarchy, like heroin or something, you will start to become subhuman. You won't be like the rest of us who have this protocol. You won't be living in your natural state of breathing, eating, and by shelter I mean protection from alligators and falling coconuts and shit like that.
Yeah. And I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If I'm not
is that what it is? Okay.
It's something along those lines, I believe.
And for guys, I don't know about girls, but sex can really can weave in there too at some weird times. I think it's a powerful force.
That certainly is. Hormones in general are a very powerful force.
And so this is probably the worst thing I think you can do. that's readily available to humanity if you want to fuck with your foundation. We had Patrick Bet-David on. I don't know if you know who that is, but one of the things he did, he's an entrepreneur. He has the largest entrepreneurial YouTube channel on YouTube. Cool guy, worth, $300 million. And he said I can't remember how old he was, but at one point he told himself that he's not going to have sex again until he makes $1 million. So he even leveraged that, against himself.
That's certainly a good way to ensure your own success.
Okay. And action.
What do you have with your cola? I have 5, but I ain't got a spoon, so I'll just use what's left.
This is disturbing even. This is like watching one of those films.
How many sugars do you have with your cola?
You ever seen those films where it's like a guy's walking down the street of some, like in Philadelphia or somewhere, and there's just people laid out everywhere shooting drugs? This is like that to me. It's just disturbing to me.
Yeah, sugar's it's extremely powerful. I think I've seen a YouTube video where they were running tests on mice, and they're testing which one mice prefer between sugar and cocaine, and actually sugar beats out cocaine.
Wow.
So yeah, it's insane, and honestly, the food industry it's an evil industry, especially, since processed foods really became so prevalent all over the world, especially I think 1970s and 1980s, they really just saw the whole world population health just decline dramatically. So it's man, the food industry, or you could say greed, it's the same. Essentially, it's all based on money and making and greed. But it's pretty evil industry, and I always encourage people to eliminate processed foods, or at least try to consume as much real, whole, high quality foods as possible.
You see, you go to Cirque du Soleil, and it's like a lady riding a unicycle. You're like, that's cool, and then she holds like a guy on top of her, and then you're like, holy shit, and then the guy's juggling, and you're like, holy shit. And then another unicycle comes out and they start juggling back and forth, and it's another guy on top of another girl's shoulders. And you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, man, how long did they practice that? And you have this anxiety as you watch it. And you're like, I've never seen this before. That's why I paid, $179 for this ticket.
Right.
When I watched that girl put that sugar in the cola, it took no work, but I'd never seen that before. Have you ever seen? But I get that same feeling that I get from being at Cirque du Soleil. Like, holy shit, someone stop her.
Yeah, no, I've
like what, she's juggling knives. Like, what is she doing? I've never seen anyone add sugar to cola. I'm just like, does anyone love her?
Honestly, I think it comes down to just a lot of parenting and conditioning, the way you're brought up. And it's unfortunate, just lack of education on some people with, even how basic nutrition is. Most people are still lack the most basic nutritional knowledge. So it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in.
And she's for sure on medications. That I think that's a girl. I can't even tell, because that's one of the things that
I think it's a girl too, but I would presume she is, but who knows?
That it will also, what I've noticed is people who consume just sugar like that on that level, they start to become androgynous. Like, I can't tell the difference. Why don't we use that word more? Now it's like all these crazy new words I have to learn, like non-binary and all this whole new. How about, what's androgynous mean? Am I using that word right, Caleb?
You should look that up, because I'll be 100% honest. I'm not exactly sure of the definition. I know endogenous and exogenous, but I've heard the best way to communicate to people is just to use words as simply as possible.
Yeah, partly male and partly female. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That would be accurate then. I assume she was female, but she could probably fit that description.
Yeah, that could have easily have been a boy. Hartle, thank you. Yes, words definitely do matter. I went to a medical site today. I was looking something up, and there was a note at the top of the article. It says gender and sex are on spectrums. And I'm just like, you fucking idiots. And I just closed the article. I have no faith in a medical website that thinks that sex is on a spectrum. I don't agree.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of, I mean, I haven't lived in the United States for like 10 years, but there's a lot of, I feel like gender roles and specifics and things that are going on now that I don't really understand. But, you know, if you want to be politically correct, you need to be that way, I suppose.
Yeah, well, they conflated the two words. Even a lot of smart people are conflating the two words. I just think as gender is something in your imagination, right? Like, and I used Baryshnikov from Russia as the perfect example. He wore black tights and a wife beater. And in the United States, that would be considered a feminine outfit, but he's one of the most, and he did ballet, and yet he's one of the most masculine fucking, you know, badasses that ever lived. And so gender is just your imagination and a social construct. And just like, I don't even, I'm 50. I don't even know what my gender is. I don't even consider, I just know that when I pee, I have a dick, and that makes me a man.
I think that's very sound logic, Sevan. I like that.
Thank you. And I do own some power tools, but I suck at using them.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm the worst handyman ever. I'm much better at working out than I am like building shelves.
The first CrossFit Games champions were Jolie Gentry and James Fitzgerald. Jolie Gentry was a police officer, and we know that the CrossFit has its roots in first responders. We had a ton of first responders always at the games in the early years competing. And then James Fitzgerald was also, he was a professional athlete who didn't succeed in his goals. He wanted to be a professional soccer player.
Yeah, that's a lot of CrossFitters, I feel like.
Yes. And then we had Miko Salo. He wanted to be a professional soccer player, but he was also a firefighter.
Yes.
And so I've always thought of, and the list goes on and on. You had Katie Motter, who was, I believe she was drafted into the owner of Rogue Fitness. I believe she was drafted into the NBA, but it didn't work, or the WNBA, but it didn't work out. And so there's this, you had Annie Thor's daughter. She was a pole vaulter. And you basically have these athletes where their professional careers or aspirations kind of come to a stop. And then, or their first responders, you know, like Josh Bridges, who they use this fitness program in order to save their lives. You know, what, can you give us a little bit of your journey? Like, where were you born?
I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I grew up in Jukiak, Alaska. And then I moved back to Tulsa for high school, and then I attended college in Houston, Texas, where I played football.
So you were like a podunk boy. You were a country boy, like small town.
I wouldn't exactly consider myself country. Like, so I was born in Tulsa and then grew up as a kid in Jukiak, Alaska. And I wouldn't consider where I grew up in Alaska as a podunk.
You wouldn't? Well, how many people live there?
Oh, man, honestly, I haven't lived there for so long. I couldn't tell you, but I would venture to say, I don't know.
Did you have stoplights in your
50,
town?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I had a stoplight. I know it's much more developed now. So I moved away from there in 2002. So
how did you get up there? Why did your parents move there? Work?
Yeah, work. My mom got a job and my dad as well.
Wow. What did they do up there?
My mom was a nurse, and then my dad had a few different jobs, but mainly he was a welder, fabricator.
Wow.
But yeah, Alaska's beautiful place. But and then I had aspirations. I knew I wanted to play football in college, and the opportunities to get recruited, you know, in Jukiak, Alaska are far less than, you know, getting recruited, you know, say from Oklahoma or Texas or somewhere. And so I took that pretty seriously. And luckily I went back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and had a successful high school career in football, and then was able to go to Rice University and play college football.
Did you played football in Alaska?
I played football, yeah, as a kid, but then I played high school football in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then I played college football in Houston, Texas.
Okay. Do they play football in Alaska? Where would the kids play?
Yeah,
where indoors?
No, they play outdoors. They just start the season, I think, 2 months earlier. So, and still they run into winter, you know, towards the end of the season, but they just start the season earlier.
Wow,
so,
crazy.
Yeah. No,
and when
Alaska's it's a developed
no,
state. It's
no,
good.
no, you can't convince me.
All right. Well, if you ever get an opportunity to visit there, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. Just make sure you go towards June and July when it's summer.
It's the only state that I have not visited. I've always wanted to drive there from California.
Yeah, if you ever have the opportunity, you should. I recommend it.
Have you ever driven from the continental United States to Alaska, or either way?
Well, I guess technically I have. So when I was a baby, I suppose, but I don't remember it. So I know my parents drove from Oklahoma up to Alaska when we moved up there, but I mean, I don't really have any recollection of that.
Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister. I do. Yep. But I've kind of, back to your question, I fell into CrossFit. It was a very similar story. So I was a college athlete and I wasn't able to play football in the NFL, which that was always my dream. And then I found CrossFit and I quickly realized, all right, well, if I'm not going to play football, then I'm just going to work out. I'm just going to, you know, make a living working out. So that's what I pursued.
What position in football?
I played defense, linebacker, and safety in college.
And
I looked a bit different than I did now. I was probably about 30 pounds heavier.
And how tall are you?
5'11".
And how close did you get
to the NFL?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say close. You know, I had a really good high school career, but my college football experience was less than stellar. I'll put it that way, but that really wasn't in my hands. I didn't exactly see eye to eye with my coaches, and that's not making an excuse or anything. I didn't have a great college football experience, and I did not get on with my coaches. So, but I still did. I did the Rice Pro Day. I tried. I took it as far as I could, and I realized, like, if I would have wanted to play professionally, perhaps I could have, but it would have been like in an arena league or a small league. And, you know, once I found CrossFit, I realized, like, all right, you know what, I could probably be pretty good at this. And so once I finished up doing my pro day, I just like went all in on CrossFit. And then that brought me kind of outside the United States. So brought me kind of led me to where I am today in a way.
What does that mean that you didn't get along with your coaches?
Well, basically it means that I played my sophomore and junior year, but, you know, my redshirt senior year, my fourth and fifth year, I didn't play. I just basically sat the bench and I played scout team. And there were some events that happened during my career that basically really weren't good. And
you went to jail.
I didn't go to jail. I'll just put it this way. Alcohol was involved. And one of my teammates was acting inappropriately, you know, and I handled it in a way that was probably a bit too aggressive. And he was kind of an important player on our team, but so yeah, there was politics involved in that for sure. I know that for sure. And I had a position coach that, in my opinion, his personality and my personality were just basically polar opposites. He was a very negative coach, you know, would never say anything good. And that's just the way he coached, not just me, but everyone like that. And it just really, he and I just really not like butted heads a lot. And so they kind of wrote me off, and I wasn't able to, you know, didn't matter what I did, didn't matter how good I was, how hard I worked, you know, I was sitting the bench no matter what. So that's kind of the way it went.
Yeah. It's crazy that you would play 2 years and then not your last 2 years. I'm guessing that the guy who came on to replace you wasn't better than you.
I mean, this is 10 years ago, Sevan. So it's I don't really want to, I'm not one to really live in the past, but I'll put it this way. Like, I worked really hard. I did everything I could, you know, to, I guess, beyond, you know, contribute to my team. But, you know, when you're on a college football team, you don't have control of your life. But, you know, the coaches are going to determine who's going to play, who's going to get on the field, and who's going to sit the bench. And I know I'm not the only player, you know, that's experienced this. You know, a lot of this happens to guys all over the country. It's happening to guys right now, you know. So when that's the best thing that happened to me, honestly, was when college football ended. I was able to pursue CrossFit, and that's obviously an individual sport. Mm-hmm. And so then I had control over my life and do that. And so playing college football, I mean, I made the best friends in my life, but, you know, I have very bitter memories and kind of a bitter sentiments about it, just because, like, I wasn't in control of my life no matter what I did.
I used to watch football as a kid, and my team was the Raiders and the Niners. I lived in the Bay Area.
I was a Niners fan too. Yep.
And I remember when they benched Marcus Allen because of problems he was having with the owner, Al Davis. And that was like, I just could not figure it out. You're paying this guy to play, but because you don't get along with him, you put him on the bench. It was crazy.
That's what I'd say. I mean, and I can't speak for anyone else. I'm just telling my personal experience and how I feel about it. And I mean,
Right.
I just did not have a good experience, playing college football. And once I was done, I was done. I never looked really back at it, and I just kind of went all into CrossFit. But yeah, I just remember being kind of really unhappy because like I didn't have control. No matter what I did, it didn't matter.
This guy Chase Bryan is saying, ask Tanner about Alan Trimble. Was that the coach there?
So Chase Bryan, hey Chase, he and I were high school teammates, and friends.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah. He actually messaged me, asking me if I was going to be on this podcast because he's obviously an avid listener to your podcast.
Yeah. I see him in the comments.
Yeah, he's awesome dude. Alan Trimble was an incredible coach, and like I said, I had an exceptional high school football career, and I'm saying that with humility. But I had a really good career, and then I just went to college. I was loaded with confidence. I felt really good about everything. I was always a really hardworking guy, but it just, like I said, once I got on the wrong side of my coaches, it didn't matter what happened. But my high school football career was great. Alan Trimble, rest in peace. He was an incredible man, incredible leader, and I felt very privileged to play for him at Jinx High School.
Oh, wow. Okay. He was your high school coach.
He was, yeah.
So you get out of college, and you're all alone there. There's no one. Your family's not with you.
Yeah, no. So yeah, my family was in Tulsa, and I mean, I was down in Houston, and like at that point in my life, I was actually at a kind of a low point. Like I lost purpose. I'd finished up college. I got 2 degrees and a minor, but I knew I wasn't cut out for a 9-to-5 job, and I knew I didn't want to work in a suit. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just knew that wasn't for me. And, one thing I just always really loved was working out. And so my transition into CrossFit was quite easy. Like I said, the first time I ever saw CrossFit on ESPN, I knew, all right, well, if I can't play football, I'm doing that. And so that really took me out of the United States. So I moved to the Philippines because I wanted to compete in the Asia regional because it was a weaker regional and I wanted to go to the games. And so I did that, almost went to the games my first year, but I made a really bad mistake on the workout, on the very first workout, Jackie. And this is in 2013. And then that brought me to Dubai, where I am today, where I was coaching CrossFit. And then I had quite a bit of success competing here in Dubai, but then just injuries kind of really, took my career, like really kind of decimated my career, if that makes sense. And I'm still battling back, but I do hope I can compete in CrossFit again, maybe as a master.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Oh, is this year even a possibility?
Realistically, next season, I may register for the Open as a master, but my plan is probably to take the entire year of 2023 to continue training because I'm recovering from a pretty serious ankle injury that I suffered a year ago. And so I'm still rehabilitating my ankle and my legs. Like I've had like 11 knee surgeries. So my knees are not in great shape, and I'm doing everything I can to rehabilitate my knees and to strengthen my legs back to where they would need to be so I can compete at the level that I know I'm capable of. So we'll see. I'm not ruling it out, but 2024, my eyes are more set on 2024.
It would be pretty, it sounds like Rich Froning's going to compete this year as an individual.
Man, I hope he does. I look forward to watching him.
And he would be in your division.
Yeah, I think he's just a little.
So you
older
could
than I am.
compete against him. That would be pretty cool just to do that.
Man, it would be an honor and a privilege just to be able to compete at that high of a level again. And if I could compete against Rich Froning, that would be incredible. That'd be an honor. I've never met the guy. I've always wanted to.
Yeah, cool as shit. I wonder if how much that's going to affect that category, meaning like so many people, like, more people are going to enter with just for the opportunity to say, hey, I can.
Yeah, that's I mean,
he's going to bring a lot of validity to that division.
Yeah, no,
people are going to start arguing that the winner of that could beat the games athlete. I mean, people are going to propose it.
For sure. I mean, I think there would be validity in that argument. I mean, Rich Froning he's Rich Froning. What can you say about him? So right. I'm really looking forward to watching him compete and to see, what level, of fitness he can bring at that age, so it's exciting because, I mean, he's obviously pushed the boundaries and I'm excited to know like what's possible. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I think definitely a lot more people will be paying attention to that masters category when he enters, because he's just such, I mean, he's a legend, big name.
I want to go back in the story to when you got out in your first CrossFit competition. But first, because I don't want to forget this story either. If I heard you right in one of the other podcasts, is you had a 500-pound deadlift and you met a guy named Mark. You went out, you found you saw a guy named Mark deadlift 900 pounds. And you're like, I wonder if this guy can put 100 pounds on my deadlift. Right. I'm wondering if you could sort of in detail tell us about that journey.
Yeah.
How do you put on 100 pounds on your deadlift, and how long did that take?
It took me from January of 2021 to November of 2021. So it took me 10 months. And I know that sounds kind of quite absurd, but Mark Boyd is his name. I mean, he's a strength specialist, and was an elite strongman. And basically we just started a linear progression program. And I wasn't doing as much CrossFit at that time. Like, I dedicated solely 10 months, basically just to deadlift as much weight as I possibly could, because it was a lifetime goal of mine to deadlift over 600 pounds.
What does that mean, linear progression? What is it?
So that's basically you're just lifting heavier and heavier week after week and dropping the reps. It's a very common way for power lifters and strongmen to train. And basically I wasn't doing much CrossFit from January through November. I was still doing a little bit, but mainly my main focus was just getting as strong as possible with my deadlift, because I've had a decent deadlift, but it was a goal of mine. I want to deadlift 600 pounds, something that I just really wanted to do. And my knees at the time weren't really as healthy as they are now. So I really wasn't doing much squatting or anything like that. And I'm the kind of guy that I need purpose in my training, and I need to have a goal. And so I just made it my goal. Like, all right, I'm going to deadlift 600 pounds. And so I found the best guy in Dubai to teach me how to do that. And so I worked with Mark, like I said, for about 10 months, and we worked through it. And it wasn't 100 pounds per se. So my first workout with him, I deadlifted 230 kg, which is, I think, like 510. I did that for 2.5 reps, 2 reps. And so that was a starting point. And then we just basically built it up from there. And I mean, it culminated in November when I deadlifted 605. But then, like a fucking idiot, I was so jacked up and ecstatic that I deadlifted the weight. I literally slammed the bar down, and then it landed on my knee and it broke my ankle. So I literally broke my own ankle because of my stupidity, I suppose. Yeah, I don't even like watching the video.
Is that the video?
That's a picture of it. I think that I might have deleted the video because I can't stand watching it. I have the video on my phone.
Crazy. So from there, you pushed the weight down, and your knees were in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I had deadlifted like 585, like probably a month before that. And I was jacked up, and I slammed the bar because I just deadlifted 6 plates. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I was jacked up. I don't know. I mean, so ecstatic that I threw the bar down, and it was all good. And then I hit my goal. Like, I've been working hard towards it for like 10 months straight. And I mean, I fucking pulled, 275 kg or 605 pounds. So, dude, obviously I was really happy with it. And especially, like, I would consider myself as CrossFitter, and there's not a lot of guys pulling 600 pounds that are, CrossFitters. Right. So then I did it, and man, just like an idiot, I just slammed it down. It landed on my right knee, and then it broke my right ankle because of all the force.
Did you know it broke your ankle right away?
I knew that I really fucked my ankle up. I mean, what's odd is, like, I did the same thing to my left ankle when I in college. So, and I knew I've had so many injuries that I know when I have an injury, and I knew it was pretty severe because my ankle swelled up immediately as well. So yeah, it was not my finest moment.
Chase, I watched the video many times. Great.
Yeah.
Do you know her, Jamie Latimer? About to see him in a few hours. Do you train with her?
Oh God, I don't, Jamie. If I'm really sorry.
I think she was talking about Rich.
Okay, good.
She's training. Right. Okay,
she's going to the Legends competition, I think.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Okay, good. I was like, oh geez, I hope I'm not. It's good.
I want to go back and get a little more details about your training for that, but I was actually wondering this too. So during this time when you're working and I don't believe you, by the way, when you say you weren't doing a lot of CrossFit, because I know how you guys are. It's probably you weren't doing a lot of CrossFit relative to what you do, but to what the rest of us do, you were probably still getting it. That's
accurate. I was probably hitting at least like 2 or 3 CrossFit style workouts a week still.
during that time, do you start doing a lot of accessory work too? Like things like the slack block?
You know what's crazy? I just saw that comment. I'm not sure what a slack block was, but no, actually.
Oh, I got to show you. You're going to fucking love it. Go on.
All right. But the approach I took when I started specializing towards a deadlift, I did less. And I just did more deadlifts, and I did different variations of deadlifts. And also, I mean, like my coach, Mark, like, you know, credit to him. Like he's actually younger than I am, but I mean, he's deadlifted like 900 pounds. And about this, he was a little heavier than I am, but I mean, he pulled basically over a 4 times body weight deadlift, which is unheard of. It's insane, you know? And so, but he took him years to do it. You know, he failed numerous times, but basically when I made the goal, I reached out to the most knowledgeable and best person I could in Dubai to teach me how to do it. Cause I didn't really want to do it with like an online coach. I wanted in-person training. So I'm a trainer, and I hired my own trainer to get me there.
Yeah. And you're an amazing trainer. And the 2 podcasts I listened to, man, you really say it's so obvious your passion. We'll get to this, but the bits where you talk about training people to get their first pull up and how rewarding that is, or even people to be able to do something as simple as a ring row, it just screams how legit you are.
And it's funny. I literally just 2 days ago, I made another piece of content about that. About how important it is for people just to master the most basic exercises, you know, and if you want to unlock anything else advanced, you know, in your training, you must have a foundation of the basics first. But so many people want to skip over that, and they want to do fancy exercises without putting in the work. And, you know, basically they're just going in circles, because you're never going to get a muscle up until you've mastered strict pull-ups or strict dips. Does that make sense? So I don't know why people don't see that, but it's a message I've been preaching for years now, and I'll continue to show that.
Glassman says he wishes he would have never introduced the kipping pull-up. It disgusts him to see people getting kipping pull-ups before they have like a year of pull-ups under their belt.
I agree on that, and and that's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves with CrossFit. I mean, I have a few other things. I mean, in general, I love CrossFit, but there's a few problems with it, you know. But I mean, it's really hard to manage and control. But yeah, that's one thing, and just the lack of mastering developing foundational strength for most people. That's the biggest problem. And I coached CrossFit for 6 years, and I've coached thousands of hours and thousands of classes. And I got to the point where I became kind of disenchanted with it, because people always wanted to do just Metcon, and something new every day. And there just wasn't enough emphasis on mastering the most basic foundational movements, such as squats, push-ups, rows, strict pull-ups, these kind of things. And you can't go anywhere unless you've mastered the basics.
You know, another thing he was really into that doesn't get translated well to CrossFit is, since Greg's background was being a gymnast, he was really into negatives. And that's how I learned to muscle up. I hung some rings under some stairs, and I would just do negatives every single day. I would do 10 negatives. The first one would be fast and slower. And then by the 10th one, when I was warmed up, I would do it as slow as I could.
Absolutely. I did negatives. I did negatives today with my client, you know, and that's a
what negative, what movement? What movement?
Strict pull up.
I do tons of, I have this little kid's gymnastics set, and I do, even though I can do bar muscle ups and muscle ups, I do tons of negatives still. I just jump up to the top, you know, of the bar, and slowly lower myself. And I do sets of 3 and maybe 10 of those. And then I'll put on a 16-pound weight vest and do the same thing. And I always, once I'm warm, it feels so great.
Yeah. And that's honestly one of the best ways to train it and develop, you know, the requisite strength to do those things. Because when you're kipping, so much more force is going through your joints and tendons and ligaments. And if you're not ready for that, it's just kind of an injury waiting to happen. So I do almost exclusively strict work. I've been doing more kipping lately just because I've been doing more CrossFit lately, but I would spend majority of my time always doing strict work, strict dips, strict handstand push-ups, strict muscle ups, strict legless rope climbs, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a huge proponent of developing strict strength.
And the strict handstand push-up is pretty wild too. I never mastered that, but I had some.
That's honestly, it's a harder one. And some people are just really good at them, and some people are just really bad at them. I've discovered that, you know, it's highly variable, especially that movement. Like a perfect example is like Laura Horvath. She's, you know, one of the fittest women in the world, but she can't do a single strict parallel handstand push-up. So that's a tricky movement. The strict handstand push-up, it's very tricky for a lot of people.
The strict one I'm good with. It's the kip that the
kipping.
Yeah,
okay.
There's some shit gets weird on the kipping.
Yeah, that's a matter of just kind of skill acquisition and practice, I presume.
Thank you, Mason. Thank you. Yeah, that's the first time in 700 shows. That's the first time I've seen that. Thank you. What do you think? I want to get back to deadlifts and back to football.
Sure.
But what do you think, Laura's? Do you think you could coach Laura into getting strict handstand pushups? What do you think the issue is there? Some people say it's just she's just too big, that she's going to have to fucking lose 10 pounds.
Well, again, I've never met her. I don't know what kind of. I wouldn't say that. First off, I would never tell her that she couldn't do something, because I think any coach that tells you can't do something is a terrible coach. So I would definitely instill that she has self-belief that she can do it. Strict handstand push-up, that's a matter of how strong you are relative to your body weight. So I think losing some weight would, benefit her for sure. But, that may be at detriment to other areas of her fitness. So that's the kind of the catch-22 with, high level CrossFit, if you give up one thing to gain another. So it's tricky, but in general, I'm a huge proponent of, if you're going to be an elite CrossFitter, you want to be as strong and as lean as possible. And you want as much weight on your body working for you and as little weight on your body working against you. So I've always maintained a very lean, shape, being, in my physique. So I want everything in my body working for me, not against me. So I'm always quite lean, because it helps your gymnastics and your body movement so much. 15
years, consumed a shitload of media. I've never heard anyone say that. And it's like, duh, you want to be as strong as you can and as lean as you can. So normally I walk around at 165. When I drop down to 150, it almost feels like I could do a 1-arm muscle up. Like all of a sudden it feels like I'm fucking holding helium balloons. I can't even believe how easy the first couple are. It's like easier than a pull-up even. It's weird.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, I mean, if you're holding extra body fat, it's literally the same thing as wearing a weight vest around all the time, but you just don't realize it. That's just weight, useless dead weight that you're holding on to and having to move. And so you don't want that on your body, especially if you're trying to be an elite CrossFitter.
No one's along that same line, just to keep beating this dead horse. No one's ever won the New York City Marathon who's not dehydrated.
Yeah,
they are severely dehydrated when they cross the finish line, and so some people would be like, well, if you're dehydrated, it's not optimal performance. It's not. At this elite level, there are some things that you have to really work. I was really happy to hear you say that. What do you weigh? What do you weigh?
I fluctuate between 200 and 205, depending on the day, how much water I've drank or how much sodium I've had. But my body fat generally stays around between 8 and 12%. I don't measure it every day, but I have a pretty good indicator. As long as I can see my veins in my lower abdomen, that's a pretty good indicator that you're like around sub 10% body fat. So I always maintain the visibility of my, veins in my lower abdomen, if that makes sense.
I don't have veins in my lower abdomen.
You do. You just need to lose a bit of weight and they'll show up. Everyone's got them.
I knew I wasn't going to get away with that. So you go in there and you have, and your baseline is a little over 500-pound deadlift, and you start doing the training. You were saying was a variety of deadlifts. Can you give us? Is it the same training every week, basically, but you just keep adding a little weight?
I could walk you through that. It's quite simple. So basically, when I did the first workout with him, he realized like my leg drive was an issue, which wasn't surprising at all because I haven't been able to squat for like 8 or 9 years. So I knew my legs were quite weak, but my back is pretty strong. My posterior chain is pretty strong. So what we did is we started working leg drive, in which we did that with heavy leg presses and also safety bar back squats. That's just to improve your leg drive. And I wasn't doing like a full 90-degree squat. It was basically about 90 degrees, not below parallel, I should say. Basically just trying to get my legs as strong as I could to mimic the starting position of the deadlift. And then I just did different variations of the deadlifts, whether that be, normal conventional deadlifts, then deadlifts from blocks. So where the plates are raised on like a 2-inch block, and then also deficit deadlifts, stiff legged deadlifts. And that's really was the bulk of my training. And, each week we did a couple peaks. So we did like a 6-week peak. I maxed out and then brought it back down and then built back up from there. So it was a very strategic approach, very periodized and all planned out, and it worked. And another reason it worked, I should say, is because I believed in it. Any program works if you believe in it. And I also was incredibly consistent. I didn't miss a single workout with them week after week after week, so being consistent in self-belief that's probably the most important thing in any program you follow, but that's kind of what I did. And then as the weights got heavier, I stripped away, one deadlift variation, so say one workout I was doing regular deadlifts, block pulls, stiff-legged deadlifts, and deficit deadlifts. So as the weight got heavier, maybe I would take away the deficit deadlifts. Then I would lift as heavy as I could on block pulls, stiff legs, and regular deadlifts. Then when I could no longer do stiff-legged deadlifts, I dropped those. And then I only did block pulls and normal deadlifts. And then when I could no longer do the deadlifts, I only did the block pulls, and I worked up to a 1 rep max on a block pull. And so that allowed me to lift heavier weight than I ever have before, basically priming my body and my central nervous system to be ready to handle, a 600-pound deadlift. And so it was a very planned out, periodized approach.
Sumo deadlifts, did you do those?
No, sumo deadlifts, I'm not a fan of sumo deadlifts in general. I almost said something really bad, but I shouldn't do that because there's nothing wrong with sumo deadlifts.
Say it. It's fine.
So I was going to say sumo deadlifts are for pussies, but no, I don't actually believe that. I don't believe that. I have, power lifters probably yelling at me right now, trying to punch me through the screen. But
how dare you?
Yeah, how dare me, right? And I'm not a power lifter, I'm not a power lifter, and I respect power lifters, and they're way stronger than I am. But I'm only do conventional deadlifts because I want to compete in CrossFit again. And sumo deadlifts never been tested in CrossFit. Not to say it won't be, but the bottom line is your leverages and the distance you're lifting the bar is far different when you're doing a sumo deadlift, and it's far easier. That's why the best deadlifters in the world are always pulling sumo. The heaviest deadlifts in the world are sumo deadlifts. Unless you're strong, man, they're doing conventional deadlifts, but you're using straps, and so they're not really hanging onto the bar. So I when I was training for my deadlift, I used a basic ass Rogue barbell, a stiff bar. I used metal plates because that's what they had at the gym. No straps, no nothing. I did it to mimic what I would be doing in a CrossFit competition because that's what I wanted to carry over to.
What happened with your squatting? And if you can't squat, how are you going to compete?
So basically, I've had 11 knee surgeries since 2014, and I've had a really severe
on both knees or just one?
Both knees. I had a
damn
man. I don't want to bore the audience with all my knee surgeries, but
people like hearing about it because other people have had knee surgeries, so it gives them hope that they can get back.
Well,
get back in shape
you can certainly do a lot. So I'll make a long story short, but my last competition was in 2014, and I won that, and then I knew my body was.
You won the Dubai Fitness Championship?
I did, yeah, in 2014.
You took first place.
Yes.
Who took second?
Nico
Or third.
Nico Aronpa took second that year. Yeah, he's a 3-time games athlete.
Oh yeah, he was strong as shit. If it's the same guy I'm thinking too, he had some fucked up form. He was like one of the. If it's the same guy I'm thinking, he had the worst form of any CrossFit Games athlete I ever saw, and yet he was a horse. His
form could be better. I wouldn't put it so eloquently as you, but it's Miko is an incredible guy. I actually know him quite well. He's still in Dubai and still training. He actually just won a competition like a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, he was an exceptional CrossFitter. Still is. His form, it works for him. I'll put it that way. Yeah, so there you go right there. But he got second that year. And then yeah, honestly, I forgot the question. So after I won that competition, I knew my body was a wreck. Like I had to have shoulder surgery, and I had no meniscus left in my right knee. So literally I was bone on bone. And so that's what kind of started, the issues with my knees. I got a meniscectomy, but then the doctor went in there and realized there's nothing to take out because your meniscus is gone. It's literally just floating around in my knee. And so my femur and my tibia were just mashing together, and I was wearing out the cartilage, the articular cartilage. And so that doctor said, you need to stop doing CrossFit and you just need to stop being active and wait till you're 40 to have a knee replacement. That's what that doctor told me.
Why wait till 40? Well, why not just do it right then and there?
Just because when you have a knee replacement, generally they're only good for like 10 or 15 years, and you want to put them off as much as possible.
Oh,
but that was bad advice. That was terrible advice, by the way. So I refused to believe that, because he told me to quit CrossFit, and I said, fuck that guy. I'm not taking no for an answer. And so then I did a lot of research all over, and then I found a highly specialized doctor that specializes in meniscus transplants. And so then I flew from Dubai to San Francisco, California. To
Dr. Stone.
Yeah, Kevin Stone.
That
guy's, he's world renowned, actually.
Yep.
So yeah, I spent about half the money I won in that competition getting a new meniscus.
Did he give you the one that he invented, or did you get a cadaver?
I got a cadaver. So yeah, I'm familiar with the one you're talking about. I don't know if that ever got passed in the US to work. So I have a cadaver meniscus in my right knee, and he had to replace my ACL as well. I had a bunch of other issues. And then
and did you like him? Did you like the experience?
Yeah, I did. Well, I have mixed emotions about it. I mean, for my right knee, he did amazing. He fixed my right knee, gave me a new meniscus, and my right knee feels good right now. And I'm thankful. Hopefully it will, fingers crossed. But I ended up having left knee quadricep tendon issues in my left knee. I think because I was compensating so long for my right knee with my left knee. So then I developed a pretty severe case of like patellar tendonitis. And I just didn't want to, I wanted to get back to competing so bad that I was very impatient and very, just young and kind of immature. And I ended up having surgery, 2 surgeries on my left quadriceps tendon that I probably did not need. It could have been rehabilitated properly without surgery. And actually, Dr. Stone performed a surgery on my left knee that kind of really negatively affected the tendon. And I'm still kind of affected by that. Like my left quadriceps tendon is still kind of, it's not 100%. And I still just have to work through it. So he's an amazing doctor, but one surgery he did on me just I think it was very premature, if that makes sense.
Did you have to pay for that out of pocket?
Yeah, I paid. He doesn't take insurance. That guy's such an elite doctor. He literally only does cash. So yeah, I did.
And how much did you spend over there?
In total for both surgeries?
Yeah.
So he actually did surgery on my shoulder too. So he's done 3 knee surgeries on me. He did one on my right knee, a big one. And then he did 2 surgeries. One was a minor arthroscopy that didn't fix the issue that I was having in my quad tendon. So then he did another one where basically he like sewed my tendon from top to bottom, kind of sandwiching it together. And on that same surgery, he also cleaned out my right shoulder. So I had 2 surgeries in one session. So a shoulder surgery and a knee surgery. He did both of them. In grand total, I probably spent like $50,000-$60,000.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it was actually going to be
probably
more than that.
Well, you know what? If I think about it, it probably was more. I think honestly, my meniscus transplant, ACL surgery, that might have been like $40,000 alone. But the other 2 surgeries I had from him were not as expensive because they weren't as extensive. But I'd say $60,000 at least. This was like 5 years ago. Yeah. Honestly, I remember it was not great, and I had to take a small loan from my dad to afford it, and I was ashamed of that because I pride myself on being a man. But honestly, I needed some money, so my dad had to loan me a bit of money to have the surgery.
Your dad was happy to do it. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no, I paid him back, so we're all good now.
My wife went to him. It's funny. I was going to start the story, the show with the story about that particular incident, but my wife went to him, and I can't. Basically, what had happened is the surgeon. She was going to do the artificial meniscus, and because the fucking idiot surgeon before him cleaned the meniscus without telling her, meaning completely cut it away, there was nowhere to attach the artificial one.
Yeah.
Then she ended up.
Go ahead, please. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I've dealt with so many doctors that you have to realize, like, people just automatically assume because someone's a doctor that they know what they're talking about. But that's not the case. Like, there's good doctors and there's bad doctors. Just like there's
not the case.
There's good trainers and bad trainers. There's good doctors, bad doctors. So like, I've dealt with bad doctors, and I really have empathy for your wife. And
she almost had her leg amputated too, because she ended up getting a cadaver meniscus, not from him, from someone else. And it's really a horror story, the reason why it happened, but it was because the insurance wanted them to do, even though she had proof that her meniscus was gone, in order for your insurance to pay, the doctor that was going to perform the surgery had to first go in and look.
Yeah.
And so when he went in and looked, that irritated the knee, and then they put in the cadaver meniscus, and she got an infection. And she was very close to having her entire leg amputated. It was a scary 6 months. It was fucked up.
Yeah, that is fucked up. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry she had to go through that.
Yeah.
Insurance companies are fucked up too. Like, I don't even want to get started on insurance. That's why, like, I didn't mind paying whatever $60,000. You know, I didn't care. Like, I just wanted to get healthy, and I knew that Dr. Stone was the best doctor in the world to probably handle my particular surgery. And I mean, that was money well spent, in my opinion.
So you're doing the deadlift. Did you ever backslide in that journey, going from 500 to 600? Did you ever like you're 3 months in and you're excited and you go in one day and you're like, oh fuck, I can't even do what I did last week?
No. So I certainly had days, workouts where they weren't as good as others, but I'll put it this way. I never have bad workouts ever because I choose not to. And like my attitude is I'm so thankful just to be able to work out that I never have bad workouts. And so, yeah, some days I didn't feel great or my back was a bit sore or I wouldn't feel as strong as I normally did. But, you know, so fucking what, you know, just go there and persevere and get it done. And I hit my numbers. There were some days where I didn't get as many reps at the weight that I wanted to, but that's why I was getting coached. You know, like my coach would see what the speed of the bar was that day. And he would make the call, you know, like, all right, we're going to do 3 reps at 550 today, you know, and maybe I would only get 1. If the bar wasn't moving as fast as it should have, he would say, call it. You're not fully recovered. We'll come back and we'll do it next week. And that's what we did, you know? So I don't have bad workouts. I just, every day I work out, I'm honestly very thankful that I can even do that. Yeah, that's sure.
Go ahead, Caleb. Let's hear it.
There's fucking people all over the world that are sick, dying, stuck in wheelchairs. They can't work out. They give anything in the world just to be able to work out. All right. You should never look at exercise as an obligation. It's a privilege. Just remember, you don't have to work out. You fucking get to work out.
When you I know you have a videographer that works with you. Is that just you worked out, you had this thought, and you call someone over and you're like, hey, film this, and then you just go off the cuff?
No. Hey, Jean, come here.
Hey, Jean.
I'll let you see my videographer. Come here, John.
John.
Yeah, Jan. Show yourself. So this is my
John.
man,
What's up, brother?
And he's with me every day. We're basically partners, and so we actually work together at a CrossFit gym where he was their photographer, barista, everything. But then he's extremely skilled guy, and he was way underpaid and treated not well. And so when I quit that gym and started working for myself, I just knew all right, if I wanted to take myself seriously, and if I wanted to grow and reach more people, then I need to start focusing on, social media. And then I just hired him. He just works for me full time. And so he comes with me everywhere. And so I can make content whenever I want, whenever I need to. And that's honestly been that was the second best thing I probably ever did when I started working for myself. The first best thing was stopped working for anyone else but myself. And then the next best thing was hire Jean, because it's had an incredible impact on my reach and to help and impact more people. Because social media is so powerful these days.
And he must be pretty excited about the explosion on Instagram too, right? It's a metric of success.
Yeah, it's not just me, it's us. So, but what we're most excited about is actually YouTube. So our main focus is YouTube and just growing on YouTube and building up a YouTube channel. But yeah, he's definitely excited. I mean, he's excited because a lot of our hard work is starting to pay off, and obviously he's, financially incentivized as well. So I feel very, very fortunate, to have him, and also very fortunate to have a very supportive girlfriend that, lets me live my life the way I want. So yeah, it's really good.
It sounds like you have people around you who believe in you, which is always a theme that I love. I love surrounding myself with people who believe in me. Yeah.
Well, oddly enough, I don't spend time with a lot of people. So I'm very particular about the people I spend time with. Because I just haven't met a lot of like-minded people here in Dubai. I don't let people get too close to me, but my girlfriend and Jean, they're basically with me all the time. And so I feel very fortunate to have that. And then my dad.
Where's your dad live?
He lives in Oklahoma.
Oh. Tell me what's going on. Why is that such a strong emotional force for you?
I didn't really want to do this. I didn't mean to. I'll just put it this way. My dad's given up a lot for me. And so, sorry, man, you just triggered something in me. I'm really sorry.
I'm not. I'm happy to be here with you, brother.
Well, I can't really put it into words, but he basically put his entire life on hold for me. And he moved me from Alaska to Oklahoma just to play football. Quit his job and basically just did everything he could for me. So anyways, man, I need to stop this. I'm really sorry. I'm kind of embarrassed about this, to be honest. But
hey, dude, I have 3 boys. 2 6-year-old boys and an 8-year-old boy. I would do anything for them. So when you talk about your dad, I can. Your dad will do anything for you. You know, I mean, clearly you know that.
No, so yeah, it all worked out. Like, he literally took me out of middle school, moved me to Oklahoma, just not knowing whether I'd be able to get a football scholarship or not. It was a huge risk. Quit his job. He had a really good job. Did everything. Quit everything. All just so I would have the opportunity to go play college football. And it worked. It did. You know, I was a good high school football player, and I went and played D1 football. And he's just always been in my corner. And, you know, I don't really care what anyone thinks of me except you know, my family.
Yeah.
So
I just, that must have put a shitload of pressure on you.
In some ways, for sure, because I never felt like I lived up to my potential, especially not in college. But, you know, then, like, once I finished up college, like, it was like a second chance. And then I got into CrossFit. And then, you know, I was honestly legitimately probably one of the top 5 fittest guys in the world. I won the Dubai Fitness Championship, you know, in 2014. And that's the last time I competed, man. So the last time I competed, I won one of the, you know, at that time, that was the second biggest fitness competition in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I won that. And then basically, you know, my ability to compete was kind of taken away from me just because of all my injuries. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of, and I'm sorry you had to see that. There's probably a lot of emotion, and, you know, that I've faced a lot of adversity, you know, between now and then, you know, having 16 surgeries and all those kind of things, and still trying to battle back every time to be able to, you know, work out the way I want to work out and compete at the level that I truly know I'm able to. So, yeah, I'm really sorry I got triggered right there. That was apologies about that.
Are you kidding me? I'm just patting myself on the back. The more people I can have cry on the show, the better. The more real I think we are. Hey, he didn't call me Tubby. Shut your pie hole, Hal. He didn't call me Tubby. I think he said buddy.
Thanks, Hal. Yeah, so no, but you're right. I think you are definitely the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And as I mentioned before, I'm quite particular about who I spend time with. Like, I don't really drink alcohol or do anything like that, and I maintain a pretty high level of discipline in my life in most every areas. And I think that's been a really big reason why I've kind of experienced, you know, the moderate amount of, I guess, growth, or, you know, if you want to call it success, even, that I have.
Why are you staying in Dubai? Well, why are you doing it? You've been there 10 years now.
It's 9 years. I've been here 9 years. I like Dubai. It's treated me very well. The quality of life here, I enjoy it. And I met my girlfriend here, and I mean, you know, we both like it here. She's from Australia. I'm from, obviously, the United States. So it's just where we are in our lives at this moment. And I don't really feel the need to return to the United States. I go back there once or twice a year to visit my family. And I feel like I'm very, very privileged to live here. Like Dubai is I love living here. It's great. I mean, it is a desert, but it's a very, very convenient, very safe place to live, and you can't
clean as shit.
Yeah, it's clean. I mean, yeah, for the most parts. There's parts that maybe aren't as clean per se, but yeah, it's a very clean, safe, very kind of futuristic place. And I mean, I'm still kind of a young adult, so it's the right place for me where I'm at right now. And also, Jean, my videographer, obviously he's here in Dubai, so just kind of things have just worked out to where it's been conducive for me to stay here. I'm not saying I won't return to the United States or I won't go live somewhere else, but Dubai is good to me, and I make a living here just fine, so it just makes sense. And I'm not really paying as much tax. There's you're kind of tax exempt over here, so there's reasons I'm here for sure.
Tanner, this is amazing and inspiring. I feel like we're in the same boat.
Thank you, Whitney. Thank you very much.
She won the Dubai Fitness Championships in 2014 also. No, she did not. Whitney.
Jamie Simmons won it. I remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she actually just did the Dubai Fitness Championship, just wrapped up last weekend. She got, I want to say she got fourth. I might be mistaken, but
did you attend that?
I would have, except my girlfriend Tinica was competing herself, so I was at a different fitness competition, supporting her.
Dubai? Was it in Dubai?
Yeah, it was in Dubai. It was a smaller, more local competition. But I've been to the Dubai Fitness Championship. I've competed. I've been there as a spectator. I've been there as a judge. I knew part of me wanted to be there, but it's also kind of hard for me to be there because when I see other athletes competing and me not being able to compete, it's kind of hard to watch. It's like, I don't watch football anymore either. Like I can't watch football anymore because I don't enjoy it, but fitness, I still love CrossFit. I still love competing. So I still have that desire to do that. So it was just good. I needed to be there to support my girlfriend, and I knew I could watch it on YouTube. So I'm not really, wasn't really bothered.
Christine Young, another one bites the dust. Yes. I'm quite proud of my undefeated. I tell the guests before, I said at some point you have to cry or else I will not air the episode.
Man. I'm still embarrassed. If you can edit that part out, I'd be totally fine with that.
I want to show this video. It's called the Hungry Test.
Oh, the protein test.
Yeah, it's the third one down, Caleb. This Instagram account is absolutely wonderful. If you're planning on getting off social media, why not just unfollow everyone, including your wife, your husband, and all your best friends, and just follow Tanner and just watch his videos every day, just one a day. I mean, you can't go wrong. Go ahead, Taylor. This is great.
Appreciate that.
Nice. How to decipher between true hunger and a craving. Take the protein test. If you're willing to eat pure protein, as in a piece of chicken, fish, or steak, you're actually hungry. But if a pure protein meal doesn't sound appetizing, you're not really hungry. You're just bored, emotional, or having a craving. The protein test works for everyone, and it's a great way to build a healthier relationship with food so you can avoid overeating and not feeling like a fat sack of shit.
I absolutely love that. Tell me how you came to that realization.
Well,
just through your own experience. You're like,
yeah, I've just honed in on kind of developing I consider it extremely healthy relationship with food, but others may consider it unique, I suppose. But that's true. It's 100% true. So many people, and that's why the world is in an obesity epidemic. They eat for pleasure too much, and they do not eat for purpose enough. And humans, we're animals like any other animals. But did you know humans and animals domesticated by humans are the only animals in the world that suffer from obesity? And that's purely because we have a incredibly unhealthy relationship with food, and we look at food as entertainment. And not to say you can't have food for entertainment. You absolutely can, but you can't do it all the time. I mean, when you do it all the time, you just end up eating for pleasure and you overeat. And that's why people get fat. They're eating obviously more calories than they're burning. And, it's literally that simple. So you can ask yourself this question. All right, if I'm hungry, I think I'm hungry. All right. Am I hungry enough to eat a piece of pure protein? Am I hungry enough to eat, a piece of chicken or a piece of steak? If that doesn't sound appetizing, then are you really hungry? No, you're absolutely not hungry. You're fucking bored, emotional. You're just having a craving and you're looking for something, to do. You're just looking for entertainment. If you're not hungry enough to eat pure protein, you're not fucking hungry. Like that's literally the truth. It's, and that's why people overeat. They're just out of boredom, or they're stressed or they're coping for something. And they need to recognize that.
I'm going to propose something that you could just write on you could build a practice and you could just write that on a piece of paper. Go back to Tanner's Instagram, write that on a piece of paper. Would you be willing to eat a piece of protein right now? Would you be willing to eat a piece of chicken right now?
Yeah.
And no matter what, start making that every time before you eat, pull that piece of paper out and read that.
Yeah. I've actually, there's
you built like a meditation gap in there, right? You've built yourself a little space before you take that handful of M&Ms or those chocolate covered raisins.
No, if you go ahead, sorry.
No, that's it. That's it.
I was just going to say, I tell people all the time to ask themselves like, a few questions before they eat. Every time you sit down and eat and have a meal, you need to ask yourself, especially if you have goals to lose weight or improve your body composition, you should ask yourself, why am I eating this? And then what is this meal about to do for my body? What is it going to do for my body? And then ask yourself, is this meal that I'm about to eat, is that going to get me closer to my goals or further away from my goals? If you could just sit down and ask yourself those 3 questions, take 10 seconds to do that, that'll change your relationship with food. Or just give yourself a protein test and say, all right, am I hungry enough to eat pure protein? If the answer is yes, then go eat protein. All right. Don't go eat some low quality shit food. You're not doing yourself any favors by doing that, especially if you want to get healthier or improve your body composition.
Yeah. It's that thought that you're hungry that I think that most people don't even witness because it's probably a misnomer even to say I'm hungry because like you were saying, I'm bored or it's something else that's not even hunger that's triggering you. And you've built the habit of walking into the kitchen and grabbing a handful of something.
What it is just people are looking for a hit of dopamine. That's all it is. That's what drives all human behavior is just dopamine mainly. That's the main neurotransmitter that, drives human behavior. And you can get dopamine from numerous different ways. Obviously exercise, having sex, drinking alcohol, doing drugs, eating something sweet, eating something salty. Those are all things that trigger dopamine in the brain. So when people get bored, they can't have sex or they can't work out or they just, they ran out of stuff to watch on television. They're like, oh, well, I'll go eat some shit food. They're just trying to get a hit of dopamine. They just don't realize it.
I think I was in Dubai, speaking of sex, and I think I remember that I couldn't go to a porn site in my hotel room. Like you can't even watch porn there, right? Like all that shit's just blocked.
Well, yeah, you can't.
A friend told, did I say I went to a porn site? Sorry. One of my friends went to a porn
site. You'd never
site.
do that. You'd never do that.
No.
You just need a VPN.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't even figure that shit out. I'm like, I'm just going to bed.
Yeah, that's good for you. I've lived here for 9 years, and honestly, I can say I've never had a VPN.
Good on you.
I've had a girlfriend in my left hand, and I've been good to go.
Awesome. Keep that imagination working strong. Why lean on?
Yeah.
How about can you play the quit drinking one also, Caleb? Tanner, is this okay that we're going through your Instagram and?
Absolutely, man. I'm honored you actually have consumed this much of my content. So
yeah.
Genuinely appreciate it, Sevan.
As hard as you work out, I prepare for my podcast, and I could just pick the guest I like. Just it's like free education for me. I pick a guest, I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to learn all about this guy. I'm going to steal all this guy's best shit. Okay, action.
So when I quit drinking, my life got exponentially better. It cleared my head and allowed me to focus more on my professional and personal goals. I can train harder than ever and make consistent progress, and I never feel like I'm going in circles like most people. Imagine what you could do if you quit drinking. Maybe you'd quit making bad decisions, eat less shit food, lose weight, get stronger, build confidence, be more productive, get your dream body, get your dream girl to actually notice who you are. Maybe you could actually get laid without needing alcohol. Holy fuck, what a novel idea. So here's my challenge to you. Cut out all alcohol for 30 days and watch how your life improves. Just 2 suggestions. Find a girlfriend that isn't crazy and be selective of the people you spend time with. Hang out with like-minded people that have similar goals and interests. And if all else fails, just stay home and jerk off.
By the way, I think when Tanner says find a girlfriend who's not crazy, that goes for boys too, or girls too. Find a boyfriend. Yeah. Find a boyfriend Absolutely. That's not crazy. Unfortunately, it definitely resonates with me more to find a to what he said, because unfortunately I feel like a lot of my guy friends have hooked up with crazy chicks, but after a while,
I have too. I think it happens to lots of
guys. It doesn't happen to guys like me.
Consider yourself lucky.
Good looking guys with nice bodies get crazy girlfriends. I think that's one of the things that sucks about being handsome and having a nice body.
If you've heard that, there's like that sliding scale, like the hotter and more sexy is, the more
crazy hot scale.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's.
I don't really get crazy.
You could argue that there's validity in that for sure. I mean, either way, I think it's best that you find a partner that is like-minded, that is loving, and that you genuinely get along with. Like I'm super lucky. Like my girlfriend's like my best friend. So, it's incredible. I'm lucky.
Listen, don't act like I drink a lot. I'm in Newport Beach for 2 weeks, and I'm just.
So, hey, Sevan, so where are you based most of the time normally?
Santa Cruz, California.
Oh man, amazing. Yeah. My goal, if I actually do move back to the United States, I think I want to be in California.
It's nice. Oh, I would highly suggest you check out Florida.
It would be somewhere on the coast, somewhere where the weather's warm. I'm not really a fan of cold weather anymore.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead, Caleb.
So just move to Nebraska. There's no rules there. It's just really
and I've been through Nebraska. Nebraska, it's nice, but it's kind of similar to Oklahoma, except I think it gets colder up there. It can get cold up there for sure.
Listen, guys, I'm in Newport for 2 weeks. I'm just having a Bloody Mary, but I still fasted on. Did my 36-hour fast. My weekly 36-hour fast. But like, cut me some slack. Jeez,
you just go hammer some White Claws, man.
How many people? One night we did a podcast just impromptu, and when I came to the house, there was a White Claw in the fridge, and I drank it on the air. And usually, and now I'm having to eat my shit because everyone saw me drink a White Claw.
Yeah. Well, I'll be 100% honest. Like I don't drink. I'm only with a very few select people. It's mainly just my college buddies. So it's like that's like the only time you'll really get me to drink. Because of course, everyone enjoys drinking. That's why people do it. But I think the repercussions just aren't worth it. Especially not if you really value your health, and if you take training really seriously, it's not really conducive for that. For most people, it's probably okay, but not for me personally.
No, I agree. I think it's I think drinking should be seen as the same way as like people view ayahuasca or like these theoretically therapeutic hallucinogenics. But like when I drink, I drink so that I'll run outside naked in the rain. I like to use the drug and not let the drug use me. I'm not interested in sitting around drinking and not exploring some new avenue. I just remember that in college. I was thinking, well, if I'm going to get drunk, I'm running out in the street naked, or I'm going to do something. I'm going to climb a tree that I should not be climbing, or some shit. I want to do some crazy shit since I saw it as kind of medicinal. I want to think of alcohol as medicinal, like to explore something new.
You can certainly think of it like that. And alcohol I think it means different things to different people for sure. It's obviously the most widely abused way to get in an altered state of mind. But I wouldn't consider it healthy per se. Like in no ways it actually good for your health, good for your brain, good for your body, and if you say you need it to be healthy, like, you don't, it makes humans less resilient. I heard that recently on an Andrew Huberman podcast. Like he's done a lot of research on it, and that guy's far more intelligent than I am. He's telling people, like even so much as like one drink a week, anything more than that can have, detrimental effects on your health. Now, are they major detrimental effects? Probably not. And you're probably totally fine. But
especially with people who are consuming shitloads of sugar and not sleeping and not working out, it's just fucking a gasoline on the fire, right?
There's for sure. And like people drink alcohol to get in the altered state of mind to feel better. But in a way, all you're really doing is you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow, from the next day, because the repercussions of a hangover, you know, to me, just not worth it anymore. Not worth it. So,
Yes, Jeffrey, I do have my limits. I do. Unfortunately, alcohol is a crutch for me when I want to run around outside. Before I take a shower, I need to be drunk. I don't want to see myself naked. How come you're not covered in tattoos? Do you have any tattoos?
no, I do not have tattoos. You know, the most rebellious I've ever gotten is I have a bad haircut. And I got a nose ring earlier this year. I don't really know why I did. I think it was because I was at my buddy's wedding, and it was I saw everyone there with nose rings. And my other buddy, who I really like and look up to, he's just a total badass. He had a nose ring. So I was like, all right, if he got one, I'm fucking getting one. So no tattoos, but I do have a nose ring and a bad haircut.
Can you get tattoos in Dubai? Do they have tattoo shops?
Yeah, again, I'm not the most informed person to know this, but you can get tattoos here, whether it's legal or not. I don't know, but I know you can get a tattoo here for sure if you know the right people. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's opened up now. Maybe you can legally. I'm not really sure.
Have you ever seen a snot bubble come out of that hole? Like you sneeze or you laugh and you try to hold it in, and like a snot bubble blows out of there?
Not yet, because mainly I always have the nose ring in, so like the holes, I guess, plugged per se. Not to say it won't happen, but I've definitely had a lot of snot, come out of my nose, especially when I'm exercising. So that happens all the time.
I've had a nose ring before. It was cool, Bruce. It was never cool. What the fuck are you talking about,
Bruce? Well, I appreciate you telling me that, Sevan. Do you have any tattoos?
No, me.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I'm not that's the one thing I just don't know anything I'd want to put on my body that I'd want there forever.
I lost my virginity when I was 18, and I've been coasting ever since. I had a very low goals for me in life. Once I lost my virginity, I was like,
man, you're set then. You're set. You're a handsome guy, and you're obviously doing good things. So let's say keep doing what you're doing.
Speaking about me being a handsome guy, I'm glad you brought that up. I was actually thinking the bar has been set so low for attractiveness because there are so many unattractive people. Let me define attractive first. Attractive meaning someone who has the mindset to improve themselves day in and day out. And then therefore you see the manifestation in their body, their demeanor towards other human beings. The bar has been set so low that even like a guy like me who's like 5'5" and like a 7 on my best day, like it should just be raining pussy on me. It's not, and I'm married. I don't need it to be. I don't want it to be. But I'm kind of sometimes surprised when I go out that like I'm not like the fucking Beatles. Like they're like, oh my God, look, a guy who stands upright.
Yeah,
whose shoulders are broader than his hips. I mean, it should just be like Caleb's 6'2". Yeah, Caleb should walk outside and just be like, "Oh, I don't know if I can go to the store. Why not? Because fuck, it's gonna be raining pussy on me." I'm part joking, but part not. Like, well, I should be able to just roll into Nebraska and just be like, "Hey, I don't care. I'm a 22-year-old girl, but I don't care that he's 50 and like,
you have girls all over you.
He's mobile. He's not in a wheel. Like I went to Disneyland and every chick there should have been trying to fuck me.
I'm sure you want to be fucking girls at Disneyland. Man.
No, I don't, but I should have at least had some people like, can I get your number? Or like bump me in their cart and like grab my ass. Like there should have been something.
What do you look like? What do you look like with your shirt off?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Not like you. I'll show you what I look like. I'll show you what I look like without I look good with my clothes on. I look fucking amazing.
That's all right. Lift up your shirt. Yeah, that's all right.
I got like probably like 20 strict pull-ups if you were over here in a pinch.
Okay. That's legit then for sure.
You could wake me up in the middle of the night. I could do a ring muscle up just cold from the L-sit position. I never kip a ring muscle up.
All right. Yeah. Well, then, man,
I could deadlift 135.
It should be raining pussy on you then. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Caleb, what are you going to say about it raining pussy on you? Tell me. Please tell me you have a good story here. I'm too short. I know I'm too short. I know. I am too short. That's why I don't go to bars. No one's ever like, oh, look, the 5'5" guy. No
They
one.
card you at the bar because you can't see over it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was walking around just like in the city.
Dubai.
And,
He's in the Middle East in an undisclosed location. Caleb's deployed right now, by the way, Tanner.
Okay.
But like we were just walking around and then you just have like people walking by and they're like staring at us because I'm the largest human they've ever seen.
Yeah.
And well, I can't say that's true. Anyway, whatever. And then like these like two larger women were like walking by and they just like were just staring at me.
Like I fucking you?
I fucking me massively. And I'm like, and so me just being a nice guy, I just looked at them and like smiled and like just kept walking. And as I'm walking by, I just hear them go, hee hee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I left. It's like I need to get out of here.
Were they wearing the burqas? Were they wearing the sheets, the ninja outfits?
Yes, yeah, they were.
Those are called.
Just climbed under one of those.
Abayas, man, abayas. Yeah.
Sevan, did you ever consider risers for your shoes? No, I'm a barefoot guy. It sucks. I can't even get like I can't even and I got gnome feet, so I always have to wear like really wide flat shoes.
Yeah,
there's nothing that can help me.
That works. You know, I've noticed a lot of guys doing that too. I was at a fitness expo.
Risers.
Yeah, like a few weeks ago, and I noticed like some big time fitness influencers, they were all wearing these certain type of shoes that made them probably at least an inch or two taller. You know, so like, I mean, that's obviously that's an option, you know, if you want to look taller than you are, because women, you know, studies have shown this, the women are generally just more attracted to taller guys. I think
don't give me your study shit. It's just a fucking fact.
All right. It is a fact. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing. I mean, I wish I was taller.
I'm attracted to taller guys. I want my friends to be tall. If you're shorter than me, you can't be friends with me.
Yeah. Well, all my best friends.
I can beat you up. You have no value to me as a human.
There you go. You know, but yeah, that's honestly, I've actually made a piece of content about that recently, how, you know, men that take better care of themselves, obviously they're going to have a much easier time getting laid than guys that don't. And it's purely from a woman's perspective. They're looking for a mate, you know, based on like survival. Like they want the fittest male they possibly can, because that's going to allow that woman to have the best chance at reproducing and surviving. And it's all evolutionary. Like humans are hardwired like that. So, you know, you can't really control your height, but you can control your weight, you know, and how healthy you are. And so, dude, if you want to gain confidence and get girls, or, you know, get acknowledged by girls, man, just fucking take care of yourself. That's probably the single best thing you can do, you know, and that's within your control.
Will you play that clip down there at the bottom, Caleb? Get girls with a U. Get girls. Do you laugh at, because I'm just pecking away at my keyboard. You must see a lot of crazy shit in my notes, huh, Caleb? It's like almost like English is a second language to me.
It's way easier to get laid if you're fit and healthy. And I don't care how much money you have or how funny you are. Case in point, Seth Rogen and Vince Vaughn probably look good to most women because they're charming and funny, right? That's until Ryan Reynolds and The Rock walk by. Why is this true? Because women are biologically programmed to be attracted to the most fit and healthy males, as they inherently know that gives them the best chance for reproduction and survival. Humans are hardwired like this. So if you're funny but fat, you're stuck in the friend zone. Or if you're fat but you got money, you're paying for sex. But if you're fit and healthy, you'll still get girls, even if you're broke. I mean, just look at most bodybuilders. Now, if you're fit, healthy, and got money, you can get any girl. Being funny is just a plus. But if you're fat and broke, you're basically fucked.
Tanner, I was after I was an undergrad for 7 years at UC Santa Barbara, and then my parents stopped paying for my shit, and I ended up becoming homeless. And I lived on the streets for a couple of years there, and then I moved into a car. And during that time, all I did every day was work out and play Frisbee.
I bet you got a lot of pussy though.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. That's dude. That's
crazy,
man.
Crazy. I was just nice.
Yeah.
Played Frisbee. I never had my shirt on. I was barefoot everywhere. And it was and I was in a college town, and people
Dude, that's honestly human behavior, man. It's just the way it is.
Just rained.
Sure. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, rained.
Yeah. It's good.
All good relationships too. No, like 10 girlfriends at the same time. I loved every one of them. Like fucking like a harem. Just like holy and broke as fuck. Like lint in my pockets.
Yeah, well, that's the same, man. Like
it's crazy,
dude. If you're, this is, I'm not to offend anyone. It's just facts, man. If you're a decently attractive guy and you're healthy, dude, you're gonna have a way bigger advantage with women than if you're not healthy.
Right.
That's human behavior 101. It's simple. So simple. I'm happy for you, man. I bet that was a probably good time in your life.
Oh, it was great. And then what's funny is I met my current wife then, and then she just kind of culled the herd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Rick Ross has Rick Ross has a word for that. Like she became the main bitch. She just like slowly just like.
I've figured out, and I'm not saying this, but I've been a fairly promiscuous person at times in my life as well. But I realized like I don't really like being around. I don't like waking up next to women. Once I found a girl that I like waking up next to, then I knew. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to stick with this one because everything else is just kind of a waste of time. Like it's easy to go out and chase pussy, but at the end of the day, it's kind of an empty feeling once you do it enough and the novelty kind of wears off. And when you know you can get girls, it's like, all right, that's, there's no challenge in that. And I think it's way better and way more fulfilling to find, someone like your wife or someone that you genuinely enjoy being around that can also be your friend, And
my crowning achievement is my relationship with my wife. It is the singular greatest achievement I have in my life, my relationship with my wife. I'm so fucking proud and happy with it. It's fucking awesome.
That is fucking awesome because it's hard to do,
Hard. Hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Many people get together, they get married, and I think the divorce rate's over 50%. But man, if you can find a person that you genuinely enjoy being around like all the time, you need to hold on to that person, and if they give you pussy on the side, that's just a plus.
Totally. The total plus. Tanner is a coxman. I think that's the guy who rides in a boat. When's the last time you been in a boat?
When was the last time I was on a boat? I was actually on a boat a couple months ago. I was sailing up in Spain with my buddy Albert.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. But I wouldn't consider myself a coxman. Definitely not. Maybe used to be, but I've also discovered when you're single and you're going out all the time and chasing pussy and things like that, you're a lot less focused. And obviously you're
it was a waste of time. It was a complete waste of time.
Yeah, you're a lot less focused, and you're obviously probably drinking a lot more alcohol, spending a lot more money, staying up late, and it's not conducive for productivity or being a fit and healthy person.
What's interesting is I've had some pretty gnarly guys on the show, and a couple of them have told me. Do you know who Nicky Rod is? The jiu-jitsu guy, Nicky Rodriguez.
I do not apologize.
That's okay. No, it's okay.
I follow a lot of jiu-jitsu.
It's he's a huge fish in a really niche.
It's like
genre.
I would consider like CrossFit, jiu-jitsu, strongman. I feel like those are all kind of like niche, kind of fringe sports. But yeah, they're like definitely big in their own right for sure.
That's him there in the middle.
Okay,
Nicky Rod, and he's
next to Liver King.
Yeah, and he's in. He kind of exploded on the scene. He was training with the most famous jiu-jitsu guy in the world, Gordon Ryan, and then they had a falling out, and the camp split into two. And now he has this group called B Team in Austin. Too much detail, but anyway.
I've heard of B Team in Austin, so I'm somewhat aware of this guy.
So I had him on the show, and I said, "How do you stay so focused on your training? How do you you're young? How are you not getting distracted by girls and chasing girls?" And he said, "Dude," I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Look at me." I'm like, "Yeah, I see you. You're fucking amazing." And he goes, "I don't chase girls ever. Guys like me don't go after girls ever." And then I've heard that a few other times from I'm like, and this is a guy who fights every day. And you see his training videos, and it looks horrible. Just the most gentlest thing he does looks horrible. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I really fucked up 20 years of my life chasing girls. Yeah, there he is with what's the UFC fighter, the heavyweight.
Yeah.
That's probably that guy he's on his back is probably the fourth toughest guy on the fucking planet.
Yeah, probably. I think a lot of guys are like that. When you're kind of in your the upper echelons of your
You're the alpha.
Or,
yeah.
In a way, you don't really have to chase girls. Like, and I'm not saying this in any way either, but like, I've never really gone out of my way to chase women either. You know, and if you're looking for it, you'll find it. It'll come to you. But I've also discovered just having a girlfriend for me is one of the best things I've ever done. It's just allowed me to be so much more focused, you know, and again, being able to be just a better person as well. I think chasing women when you're young, I think people need to go through that. You need to do that. And that's a part of life that you probably need to experience, but then you kind of realize what's important. And yeah, it's like all that shit's just a distraction, man. It's like, it really is. Like if you're serious about your goals and you have ambitions, women can definitely get in the way of that if you let them, but just, you know, you don't need to chase them.
By the way I heard you say that is it's not the women's fault. It's if you let them. It's up to you.
Yeah, no,
you have the power. It's not that women are bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I actually made a piece of content today that was very pro women. But I'm a firm believer that everything in life is a choice, you know, and I think a big problem with most people is they don't realize that, and they never take a responsibility for their life. But I mean, if you think about it, you are where you are. Everyone is where they are in their life because of every choice they've made up until this point of their life. And so I think, you know, definitely you have the ability to take control of your life at any time. You just have to choose to do that. And, you know, obviously chasing women or not is a choice.
For sure. I do put in the hierarchy, chasing women is way better than watching porn. Like sitting around and watching porn is just stupid. You're not sharp. You're chasing women. At least you're sharpening some skill set. Watching porn, you're not.
You're getting some kind of human interaction.
Yeah.
No, you're really not. I mean, I think there's been a huge movement towards that. Like, stop watching porn. I think it's like the no FOP movement. You know, but
what's FOP stand for?
I honestly can't remember, but it's an acronym spelled NOFAP. I can't even remember what it stands for, but basically it's the movement to stop watching porn. It's either stop watching porn or stop jerking off. I can't remember which one.
SW, stop watching porn. SWP. Good start. Magnus Holmgren. No, I apologize for the title of this podcast. I really do. It's my fault, but I'm late to the show based on statistics. All guys without shirts on the show is not natty. Is this the same here? No, this guy's natty. No FAP, an online community with thousands of members who practice avoiding all forms of artificial sexual stimulation. Well, fuck, dude. Then I couldn't wear underwear. When I put my underwear on, I get stimulated. Fuck.
This is definitely the best podcast I've ever been on, Sevan. You're I really appreciate you having me on, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
You're the fucking man. I'll say, I could not be a part of the no FOP movement either. Personally, like I don't watch porn. I don't really take the time to watch porn, but I mean,
you can't. Your king won't let you.
Yeah. No, I don't need to. I'm very fortunate. I've a healthy sex life, thankfully.
Fantastic.
Girlfriend. That's good on that end, but I think humans are meant to do that. You know, like that's like a primal urge that, you know, should not be ignored. I mean, having sex is what makes us human. Having sex is what makes humans. Like, we're supposed to do that. So even jerking off, like, I think that's frowned upon, but I don't think it really should be. Like, that's something that every guy does. If he says he doesn't, he's a fucking liar.
My views on masturbation have kind of evolved. I think it's like what you're saying about food too. So I don't think it should be impulsive. Like, just because you want to jerk off, I don't think you should. I think it's like one of those things, like, you should let rise like 5 times. You know, like when you're sitting somewhere and you know, like those people, it's like, dude, you're just shut the fuck up. You're saying everything that comes out of your mouth. Like, only say every 5th thought. Like, I don't need to know every single fucking thing you're thinking. Jerking off's like that too. Just because you want to jerk off, like, hey, maybe you should do 10 push-ups, or maybe it shouldn't. I don't think it's you should allow it to become an impulse.
Yeah, well said.
Like an impulse spend. Like, you're just on Amazon, you feel like you have to buy something.
Yeah, but to not do it at all, to completely not do it at all, I think
it's medicinal. You need some.
Yeah, you did, for sure. Like, if you told me to go 30 days without busting a nut, I mean, I know I could do it because I'm a mentally strong and disciplined guy. But then I would just be like, why? Like, why? Like, what purpose does this serve? You know, it's like
I went 2 months once.
Why? I'm curious why.
So I was just young and I wanted to experiment, and I was in college, and I kept a pair of 20-pound dumbbells next to my bed, and so like because 2 months is a long time.
That's a really long time.
Any time I would want, like anything would happen. Like if in the middle of the night I woke up and I thought I just couldn't keep my hands off myself, I would just get up and do a bunch of sets with the 20-pound dumbbells. And my shoulders got crazy developed in those 2 months. But my theory was I could take the blood out of my penis and bring it up to my shoulders. I mean, I just made that shit up myself. You know what I mean?
Just I mean, that's not bad logic. I think that's kind of sound in a way, but I feel like you're just like depriving yourself of like a fundamental human need.
Yeah, just an experiment. It was just an experiment. Yeah, and then you know what happened is the guy who delivers weed to my house at that point, he had sent his girlfriend over to my house to drop the weed off. I think, what was her name? Kendall. And she was just a friend. There was never anything between us.
Well, was she looking pretty good by the end of that 60 days?
It had been 2 months. And next thing I know, we're in the fucking shower just getting crazy. I don't even know how it fucking happened.
Oh man. See, dude. Yeah, that's hormones right there, man. That's literally, that's purely hormones. That's like testosterone driven behavior for sure.
It was fucking nuts. Yeah, it was just like we just started like coiling like snakes, and next thing I know, we're like in the bathroom and then in the shower, and the grossest shower too. You know, like the shower at your college house.
Yeah, for sure. Probably not.
That was kind of a buzzkill,
but it probably didn't matter too much. I mean,
no.
Humans are gonna do what they're gonna do, man.
And I fell in love with her, and then the dope dealer he hated me.
Yeah, hopefully you find a new dope dealer.
He hated me. Imagine going 2 months without it from COVID. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Philip was in the hospital. This guy got COVID and got hospitalized.
Yeah, that would be rough. I feel for you there, Philip. That would be, if you're like literally too sick or stuck in a hospital so you're not able to jerk off. I guess there's certainly circumstances that would, dictate that. That would be, yeah. If I was in the hospital, I'd be like, man, all I want to do is go home and bust a nut.
Yeah.
I'd be thinking that for sure.
I think that almost always anyway.
Yeah, that'd be rough, man. That'd be rough. Hey, Sevan, just a quick question, if I may. How did you get started? And forgive me, I don't know this better, but how did you get started with CrossFit, and how did you end up making all, basically the like documentaries and all that kind of stuff? I've always wanted to know. I've known who you are, but never knew how you got your start.
So during that period that I was homeless, I was just barefoot and just cruising around. There was a home for developmentally disabled adults that I would walk by every day in Isla Vista, California. And I would just walk by there barefoot with my friends, whatever, smoking weed, throwing a Frisbee, hanging out, holding hands with girls. And one day I thought, and I was in a pretty profound, deep state of love, like always. And I was really working on myself. It was like during my, I'm going to take full responsibility. And at that point, I kind of realized that if I was open to it, that the world would conspire to help me and always bring good things to me. But I had to be open to it and not interrupt the process. And I walked by that house one day and I was like, fuck, I could really love on these adults here. Like I may have something I could truly offer to these people. So I went in there and I got the job, and which was crazy because I did the interview barefoot and I was just a homeless guy, and I started making $77.25 an hour. And at that point, I'd saved up shitloads of money. And like by shitloads, I mean like $7,000, like a consultation with Dr. Stone. And, And I bought a video camera, and then it just took off from there. At that point, about a year after I bought the video camera from Circuit City, I thought it'd be cool to have a video camera and just film stuff. And that was when you put in the cassette tapes in them. So and then all of a sudden I heard Apple was coming out with a computer and editing software. I bought a car. I plugged my girlfriend helped me, lent me some money. I bought a car, plugged the computer into the cigarette lighter, and just every night started editing. And then next thing I know, I'm living out of a car making commercials and TV shows. And I started making this. I was still homeless, and I was making these arm wrestling shows for ESPN. And this is in 2005 or 6. And there was a guy who was crazy buff and crazy fit. And I go, what do you do to stay fit? He said, I do this thing called CrossFit. And he started telling me the workouts. And I told one of the producers at the time, I said, it's such a shame that someone could be so fit and lie about their workouts. Because he said he did like 100 pull-ups and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I looked, and And my buddy's like, and you know, we were just fucking two guys who like to hang out on the beach and be homeless. And so we started going to the rec center at UC Santa Barbara and started just trying to figure out what CrossFit is. And then I sent 2006, or my buddy sent Greg. He's like, hey, I basically said, hey, let's see if we can get a job with these people making videos for them. Their videos suck. They have like 4 videos on their site and they're horrible. Yeah. This is when no one even wanted to put videos on the internet because it's kind
of like the early days of the internet, and it's still way. Like, that's crazy.
And so he typed out a letter to Greg and Lauren. I reviewed it. He sent it. We went over there. We asked him for $500,000 to make videos for him. He said, absolutely not, but I'll give you a free L1 seminar. I went to my L1, had my fucking head exploded open.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking believe what I was being told and that I hadn't thought of it myself. And for the next year, I worked for Greg and Lauren and CrossFit for free. And I just traveled around the United States filming seminars. And
man, that's incredible.
Next thing I know, I'm running the entire media department.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Right. And I was like you, I'm very, very disciplined. And like, I love working. I want to grind.
That's evident with what you do. And like, that's something that I feel so fortunate about. And I mean, obviously you've experienced this as well, but I feel so fortunate to be able to do what I love doing and to be able to do something I'm so passionate about, because I would be doing this regardless. You know, like health and fitness is all I'll ever do. I know that for sure, you know, in some shape or way or form, like just health and fitness. And every day I wake up and I'm fucking hungry to go to work and do something. So it's, man, that's a really cool story. Really cool.
And you're doing it. It's crazy. You're doing it. And dude, you're contributing to the greater good of the planet. Like your message, don't ever let anyone, I don't know if you get this, but sometimes people will say, hey, I agree with everything you say. I don't like your delivery. And it's like, I hear you and I understand you and I feel you, but there's some people who do need my delivery. Yeah. So maybe my delivery is not going to be the most popular. Maybe it's not going to be blah, blah, blah. I don't want to, my goal isn't to alienate people. I hope I'm not pushing people away from being healthy, but, the people who do hear it, there are people who are obese who need you to say, hey, motherfucker, if you want pussy, you better stop eating sugar and working out 5 times a week. And like, if you can save one person's life like that.
And honestly, man, just especially lately, I've been getting overwhelmed with just positive messages saying, you know, what a positive impact I've had on people. And they told me that I've changed their lives. And I know I'm not for everyone for sure, but I literally say what I think in my head and I put it out there, and you can look at it how you want, but I've always tried to put out a positive and uplifting message. I may put it in a way that you may not like to hear it, but you know, if you get down to the root of it, it's to take control of your life, be healthy, you know, and that if you do that, I mean, honestly, dude, you're going to be happy. So
Omar, I appreciate your comment. Fuck that sugar. Yeah. Fuck that sugar. Eat pussy, not sugar. Okay, I'll
well said.
I'll take that into consideration. I want to play one. You got time for one more video to show?
Yeah, man, I got all the time in the world. I can't believe I'm on your podcast still, man. This has been great. I didn't know this. This has been great. Play whatever you want.
Awesome. It's the one right above Mr. Beaver. Get girls. It just says fat. Do you see it?
Yes.
You're a good dude. How lucky am I that the guy, my co-host on the podcast, his last name is Beaver. It just it's like touches the 12-year-old boy in me just like nonstop. How lucky am I? That. C Beaver.
C Beaver. No, that's true. I just now realized that.
Crazy.
Lucky dude.
Obese people can make every excuse in the world why they're fat and unhealthy. But when you cut through all the bullshit, it boils down to one thing: choice. Healthy people don't have to be healthy. They choose to be healthy. Just like fat people don't have to be fat. They choose to be fat. No one forces you to overeat on shit food or drink too much alcohol. No one forces you to sit on your ass and never exercise. You do that willingly. And if the truth hurts, too fucking bad. Because it's better to piss you off with the truth rather than deceive you with bullshit and excuses. Live in reality. Your lifestyle and consequently your health is a fucking choice.
Bam. It's yeah, isn't that crazy that people even to make yourself unhealthy, you have to choose that path. Because if you just did nothing, nothing would happen. But those people are actually choosing to go down a bad path.
They are. They may not realize it at that point, you know. They may not realize they're choosing it. Maybe people will blame it on, you know, their parents or where they're brought up or
big boned.
Big boned, or, you know, they can't afford to eat healthy food. There's all kinds of excuses in all of that kind of stuff, you know, but literally when you cut through that, when you cut through the bullshit and excuses, everything in your life is a choice. I mean, you choose to wake up every day. You choose to get dressed. You choose to go to work or all that kind of stuff. Like, you choose to put that food in your mouth. You know, no one is forcing you to do anything. No one's holding a gun to your head and say, hey, eat this fucking donut, you know, eat this bowl of sugary cereal. Those are all choices that you make every day, you know, and people just, they do it mindlessly. Most humans, they eat mindlessly without realizing it. But again, it really just comes down to choice, and you can literally take control of your health at any point. And again, people are going to say it's not that simple, you know, and there's reasons for all of this, but if, like I said, when you really cut through it all, if someone that's fat and obese, when they cut through it, like, it's all about taking personal responsibility and making a choice to be healthier. So
when you break it down to its simplest form, it really is that easy.
Yeah, it is.
He just told you that, like, if you're not sure if you're hungry or not, or you want to do the hunger test, just, are you willing to eat a chicken breast right now? And I said this one time on my show, and I got a bunch of pushback on it, and it's fucking hilarious. But for me, when I want to drink alcohol, if I just eat a piece of fruit, that craving to drink alcohol immediately goes away. 100%. It's not even there a little bit, which makes me realize I'm not even chasing the alcohol. I was chasing the sugar content in the alcohol. And you give those tools, or I say, hey, all you have to do for dessert for your kid's 3rd birthday party, don't buy a fucking cake. Get a bunch of frozen berries and some heavy cream and pour it on the berries, and every kid will be fucking completely stoked.
Absolutely. And that's responsible. That's responsible parenting, if you ask me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No one's going to be like, where's the fucking cake? Now, I'm not against the cake either, by the way, at some point. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I've never bought my kid a cake, but, like, don't act like there's not real simple things that you could do to mitigate the fucking fire. I mean, if you have an obese fucking kid, you fucked up.
For sure. And, like, what is giving them birthday cake teaching that kid? That's literally just a pure and simple, all right, I'm going to, you know, reward this kid by just giving them sugar. You know, that's right. That's how I'm going to treat you. Like, how does that, you know, affect a kid? Obviously, they're raised on sugar, and so they're going to associate sugar with a reward. And it's like, man, that's just bad conditioning, you know, bad human conditioning that so many people have done. Like, my parents gave me birthday cake. All parents do that. You know, it's just something that it's ingrained in our culture. But if you really think about it, like, why the fuck are we doing that? Like, I don't even have birthday cake anymore. I don't do that. Like, instead, I've tried to start like this little mini trend of giving yourself a birthday steak instead of a birthday cake. Oh, you know, like, dude, why celebrate getting a year older by eating some low quality sugar shit processed food? Like, are you really doing yourself any favors by doing that? Are you helping yourself? No. All you're doing is eating a low quality food, and you're taking just a hit of sugar. You're taking momentary pleasure in trading that for long-term pain is what you're doing, if that makes sense. Like, that's what
dude,
so many people do.
I like that. Birthday steak.
Yeah, just do that. I mean, every time you eat some low-quality shit food, yeah, that might taste good in the moment, but whatever, 5-10 minutes later, that feeling passes, and then most times you feel like shit. Because I know when I eat low-quality shit food, my body tells me, and I feel like shit. And it's like, dude, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to yourself?
And when you say
momentary pleasure.
When you say you feel like shit, for me, it's like, I feel like I don't want to move, but 2, when I do move, I feel like I've lost range of motion. Like, everything's a little bit tighter. Like,
honestly, I think it's an inflammatory response. And I think most people that have, you know, they don't pay attention to their health, they're walking around chronically inflamed.
For sure.
They really are. They don't even realize it, but that's their normal. So they just accept it as normal. Most people walk around bloated. Most people have probably bad digestion, or have, like, you know, whatever, fucking diarrhea, or just, you know, just not healthy, whatever, bowel movements, but they just accept that as normal.
Are a lot of Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, most people, they don't even realize how much their life will improve, when they start to get healthy. Literally every aspect of your life improves when you improve your health. That's another piece of content that I've made, but just getting healthy will change your life, for the better. It's like infinite.
There were these three things Greg would say if you do CrossFit. You'll either quit your job or you get a raise. You'll either get out of your relationship or it will get better. And then there was a third one. But he would basically he would tell people, hey, write on this piece of paper 10 things you want to happen in your life. And they would write down those 10 things they want. And then he would have them fold it up and seal an envelope and be like, you never have to show anyone that. But after working out here at the Santa Cruz gym, this is when he was training people back in the early day, he'd open this up 6 months later and tell me if you're closer to those 10 things without even trying, just because you're hanging around with people who want to be better and you're making yourself better. And he said it was like always like people would be like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude. And that, like, honestly, I've never met Greg Glassman. I don't know what kind of man he is or anything like that, but he's definitely changed my life and he's made the world a significantly better place. You can say, I made a piece of content about Greg Glassman yesterday because he has that famous quote, the needs of humans don't vary by kind, only by degree. Like, if you think about that, that is profound. All humans have the same fundamental needs, just
the difference between Olympic athletes and our moms. Yeah, he uses that as the example,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Like our needs are the same. And that it's, man, I don't know, that he was ahead of his time for sure. I would definitely say that.
It's in cycles, right? It's where he came from. He came from Los Angeles in the 1950s and 60s when all the parks had steel rings, right? It's like, and then we moved to the Arnold Schwarzenegger way, the back and bis, chest and tries, and we stopped squatting, and then now it's back again. When I found CrossFit, I was 34, which is kind of funny, right? It's the same age you are now, basically.
Yes.
And I had never seen a rope in any gym anywhere.
Right.
And this is only 16 years ago. Yeah. Only gymnastics gyms. Yeah.
Only gymnastics gyms. That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
I never saw anyone do an air. I went to the gym every single fucking day for 15 years before CrossFit, and I never saw anyone do an air squat.
Yeah, I was
just like, and now that's like just your foundational shit.
Absolutely, that's the first thing I'll teach someone, and I've taught thousands of people foundations. I was very fortunate. The first thing my dad ever taught me, and he taught me how to work out when I was like 5 years old. I didn't start taking it seriously until I was about 10. But the first thing he taught me was a squat. My dad came from a powerlifting background. So like I was raised on a very, I had a really good upbringing with as far as strength and conditioning, squats, deadlifts, proper training. And then obviously I went and played football and college football. So I had really good strength coaches. So I came into CrossFit already quite strong. So I had a really good foundation, but when I found CrossFit, it made sense, man. It's like, to me, it makes perfect sense. If you want to be healthy, you want to have a good amount of absolute strength, meaning you want to be able to lift heavy weights, like barbells. And you also want to have a good amount of relative strength, meaning you want to be able to lift your body weight. And you can't have good relative strength if you're fat, but being fat's not healthy. So that's why I feel like Greg Glassman, by combining weightlifting and gymnastics, basically absolute strength and relative strength, that was kind of visionary as far as like health, as far as like being healthy and getting strong. Like, dude, there's without a doubt CrossFitters are the most fit people in the world, and they're fucking jacked and they're fit. And like, that is health in my opinion.
When we would have powerlifters, world famous powerlifters come in and do like private seminars for the staff at HQ in the early days, or they would come and I would see them. I thought that looks like a fucking miserable life. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have what you just said, that relative weight. Like it was like, holy shit.
Or fitness. They're strong. They're
strong and smart. They were all smart too. Ridiculously smart, articulate guys. I mean, but fuck that it looked laborious to be them.
Yeah, no, I would never powerlift. I'd never be a strongman. I have nothing against anyone that powerlifts.
Me neither.
If you enjoy it, good for you, great for it. But like, I want to train to be healthy, and honestly, man, I came from a college football background, so you did a fair amount of conditioning, but you obviously did a lot of strength, no gymnastics per se, but, I was kind of more of a skill position. So like doing box jumps or, dips or pull-ups, I could already do all that stuff. But dude, that is health, man. If you're lean, strong, and you have good metabolic conditioning, dude, you're going to be extremely healthy. You're going to be very far away
and
from
happy.
Yeah. And happy. And you're very far away from that spectrum of sickness. There's sickness and health. Dude, if you're strong, lean, and jacked, you're going to be healthy. And if you maintain that for as long as possible, you're going to live a long time. That's just undeniable.
What about sparkling water?
It's funny you kind of said that. I consider sparkling water snob water.
So you don't drink it?
No, I'm actually joking. I really can't believe you just brought that up, because that's a debate that I have with my girlfriend all the time. She prefers sparkling water, but in me coming from America, I never really drank a lot of sparkling water, so I've always drank still water.
I think I have bad news for her.
Tell me, what is it?
I think that it increases your chances of osteoporosis.
Does it really? Because
I've been looking into it, and it's kind of freaking me out. I mean, not freaking me out. Like,
I'm actually going to look into that now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you drink a shit ton of sparkling water, I'm curious to research that now.
The study was massive. I want to say it was with like 80,000 nurses or something. They did it. And that basically you had a 300% increase in chance of osteoporosis if you drank sparkling water, and a 500% increase for people who drank soda.
Well, soda doesn't surprise me at all, just because of the sugar content and how all that. But
I know. Yeah, hey, so Eric, this is what I've been doing.
Sparkling water.
I stopped drinking. I tried to stop drinking sparkling water, and once again, it's super easy. It's not the meat test, but anytime I want a sparkling water, I just run over and drink a glass of water, and fucking the desire for sparkling water goes away. I just force down a quick 8 ounces.
Holy shit, man! You're gonna have to send me the link to this study if you don't mind after this podcast. I'd be interested in reading it.
I will.
I've never been. I mean, I don't mind sparkling water. Some people love it, and they just can't drink normal water because they find it boring, But I mean,
that's just nonsense. By the way, that's a story that they've spun for themselves. That's not.
To each their own. But if it seriously does increase your risk of osteoporosis, I would definitely want to know that, because I would definitely cut it out of my.
I don't trust a microwave either. I don't trust a microwave. I have no proof, or I have no data for that. But I don't understand. I'm not comfortable with whatever the fuck's going on in there. I'm not mentally. Maybe I'm open to being wrong, but I don't do microwaves. I don't have a microwave in my house. I don't want to eat microwave food. I don't want to do any microwave shit.
I do own a microwave, and I use it occasionally, but I do try to heat up food or reheat food on a stove or in the oven if I can. So I don't like using it either, because I do feel like it's kind of unnatural. But again, you could probably find whichever study you want to support your bias.
True.
So it's man,
for sure. Not probably. Of course, you can.
Sure. You can. You can. So it's hard. I feel like if you're stressed about drinking sparkling water or using a microwave, but you are eating low quality processed shit food and drink alcohol regularly, you're stressing about the wrong things. Does that make sense?
Yes. I don't trust my iPhone either, David. I think that thing freaks me out, that it's fucking nuking me. Sometimes I feel that thing warm in my pocket, and I'm like, God damn it.
You know what's weird is I feel like our iPhones are listening to us all the time.
Well, they are that.
They are. It's strange. You can just literally be talking about something, and then whatever, the next day or even an hour later, you'll see a sponsored ad for whatever it is you were talking about. And so it's fuck, our phones are listening to us all the time.
Hey, the universe is listening to us all the time too.
Agreed.
That's why I just brought up sparkling water.
Well,
I'm listening to you through the universe.
Well, you said that, back in your college days, you were saying how you're kind of just putting out these positive, vibrations in the universe, and then I
just accept the fact the universe will help me and be open to it. Yes.
And Sevan, I accept that fact too, because you're 100% correct. I'm a huge believer in the law of attraction, and putting out what you truly want in life into the universe, and it'll come to you. Yeah. And once I started doing that, everything really has kind of come true. So I'm a huge believer in that. People say that with religion or anything like that. I'm not a religious person, but I am a big believer in putting out what you want to attract in life. Put that out, and it'll come to you.
How did you, what events, was there a moment, what events brought you to that understanding of the universe, that it works that way?
It's kind of funny. I read a book in college, and it was based on I just made a YouTube video about this, so it's strange because I'm going to put it out pretty soon. But the book was called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And I know that sounds really fucking, I don't know, cliche or kind of like, oh yeah, really self-help books. But
I'm very familiar with who he is. He's huge.
Yeah, he's huge.
Is it Jack Canfield or Cornfield?
Canfield, Canfield.
Okay.
But the reason I read that book is because the best player on our team, the most successful player, the hardest working guy, the most inspirational guy I've ever met, his name's James Casey. Played in the NFL for 7 years. Now he's an NFL coach for the Bengals. He's coaching football. A tremendously successful guy, the best guy on our team. And I really looked up to him because he was quite a few years older than me. But I literally asked him, James, dude, what can I do to be like you? And he said, dude, read the Success Principles. Take 100% responsibility for your life and decide what you want and start working towards that. And you put out those vibrations in the universe and you'll attract what you want. And when I read that book and I started changing my behavior and started doing like that, literally everything's come true. Pretty much everything. I mean, I wanted to play in the NFL, but at that point, that dream was kind of already given up. Then I wanted to be the fittest man in the world. And I got close, but, unfortunately, injuries have kind of derailed that. But James Casey literally changed my life by telling me to read that book, because I read that book and then I put it into practice. You can't just fucking read a book and expect your life to change. You can't just take an easy path. You actually have to do the work every day and believe in it. But like literally that's what got me thinking about the law of attraction and putting out, positive vibrations into the universe. Because I believe that shit wholeheartedly.
Brian Johnson, I thought I was going to be able to go a whole show without talking about this. Brian Johnson's a friend of mine. That's the guy who's the Liver King.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is he a friend?
Yeah. And he's in the second podcast he ever did was this podcast. And I tried to get him on the podcast before he was the Liver King. Because I had heard of, I knew him as a guy who had changed his eating habits in order to help heal his son's autoimmune diseases. And I used to have this other podcast that's called Meet the Parents. It was like short-lived. And so I wanted to meet this dad who changed his eating habits to save his kid who was dying from autoimmune diseases, who was being tortured by autoimmune diseases. And he said, hey, thank you so much for inviting me. I just can't come on. I'm basically, I'm paraphrasing, but basically I'm too shy. I'm not well-spoken. I can't do it. I will never do a podcast. I'll never. I'm like, okay. And then eventually he became the Liver King, right? He used that and in the 9 ancestral tenets, and he started going on this journey, and he came on the podcast. And when he came on the podcast, he actually cried, and he's like, holy fuck, I can't believe I'm fucking crying. And for those of you who haven't seen that podcast, I highly recommend it, because I think in the first it's a 2.5 hour, 3 hour podcast, but I think in the first 30 minutes we get past the Liver King character and I started actually talking to Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
And I see that, so then his personal trainer released the emails of him being on steroids. Yep. And his personal trainer ends up making a video defending why he released him. And I think the defense is complete bullshit personally, because if you really cared whatever he says, you should have just gone straight to Brian. You shouldn't have given it to Derek at more plates, more dates. Even though I hold no hard ill will towards Derek, because that is his YouTube channel, right? Yeah. His channel is to study these things. But all these other people who are fucking piling on him, it's so funny. Every time I bring it up, someone in the comments will be like, I can't believe you're defending the Liver King. I'm 100% not defending him. What I'm saying is this is an opportunity for you to look at yourself and to be positive and to act as yourself. Why do you care that he lied? What trust did you put in him? Why can't you, where are the limits to your level to accept people for who they are? Like, there's just this, it's just so disappointing that so many people in our space who are supposed to be for the wellness and health of other people, they're being exposed to me that they have limits of who they're trying to help. Now, granted, he's my friend, so I know him as a real person, and to these other people,
yeah, not the character. Yeah.
But I hear Joe Rogan say he'll never have him on the show, and yet he's probably spent 10 hours talking about him.
Right.
And there's a piece of disingenuousness that starts to creep in on me about this. Like, hey, dude, like, he started this to help his kid. And he I don't know if you saw his apology video, but he basically says, hey man, I'm an insecure man with low self-esteem. What the fuck can I say? It's like,
I didn't watch the apology video, and it's an interesting talking point that you brought it up, because 7 months ago I made a piece of content about the Liver King, saying whether he's natty or not. I didn't care. I said I don't care if he's natty or not.
I don't care either. Yeah,
you know, his overall message at that time was actually good. It's like, all right, hey, be healthier, eat a real whole animal-based food, spend more time outside. You know, just besides him being a character. You know, it's this is the piece of content.
By the way, this is insane. This is insane that you're doing this. These ring muscles weighted.
Thanks, but I've made this piece of content. This actually got over 1 million. It's almost got 2 million views on YouTube.
Crazy,
you know. But then you say that, and it's interesting because you're a friend of his and you've met him. I haven't met him, and I just recently put out a piece of content, you know, discrediting him because I was honestly really disappointed.
It is disappointing
because he staunchly denied taking steroids so many times, you know, when everyone kind of knew he was, or definitely obviously suspected he was. And the biggest problem I have with him is that he's made this character, and he's obviously extremely jacked and lean, but he has a conflict of interest because he has multiple supplement companies selling supplements. So he's directly benefiting from that. And I don't think people have a problem with his message. They have a problem with his conflict of interest, you know, in doing that. I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
No, I agree with what you're saying. You know? It's just I think that there's a conflation of the issues. I agree, and I had seen that piece of content you made, so I wanted to ask you. I wanted to talk about it so that you could push back on me, because it's important that I don't live in an echo chamber. Just for me, it's two different issues. He lied. People were probably misled. Some people were probably misled by the fact that if they live this way, they'll look like him.
They were misled.
They were misled.
They were misled. Not probably. They were, in my opinion.
But you and I weren't misled, right? I mean, other people were misled, but you and I, like, I wasn't like, hey, I take those pills, but I didn't take those pills to try to look like him. I didn't think that was going to happen. And I think the 9 ancestral tenets are still valuable.
Yeah, they are. But dude, you are right. And I will agree with you on that. Like, his overall message, that's why I was never a fan of the Liver King, but I didn't hate him either, because I was like, I can see it for what it is. And I can look past his antics and sensationalism, and I can see, all right, this fucking guy is actually just telling people to eat real whole food, work out, be outside, you know, whatever, take cold showers, whatever. It's actually, that's not a bad thing. The reason he's gaining so much traction on social media is because he's doing all this crazy shit, like drinking 50 egg yolks and biting raw liver and eating cow testicles.
And that barbarian challenge is fucking nuts too.
Yeah. If he really, I mean, whether or not he really did that every week, I don't know. You know, I have doubts about that, but either way, it's like his message was okay. I have the problem with him lying and directly benefiting from that, because while you may not have believed him, or you kind of knew it didn't affect you or me, because I think we probably have maybe more common sense than the average person. Dude, how many people bought that guy's supplements because of how good he looks, you know, how jacked he is, you know? Hey,
well, I definitely, you
know, so like, there's just a huge conflict of interest in that, and he lied about it. And I got a problem with people that fucking lie, man. Like, one thing about my content, it's fucking honest, you know, and I'm putting out there. So it's like, that's why I lost a lot of respect for him. I'm sorry, but I mean,
no, it's fair. No, it's fair. And Bruce, so it's funny to say that, yeah, he tainted his trust. What's funny is the first, when it came out, the first thing I thought is, oh shit, I wonder if he really sleeps on those wooden boards that he says he does. And I wonder if his pills actually have the dehydrated,
liver or whatever.
Liver. Yeah. Are his supplements pure? And I did a little research, and I started watching more and more of his content. There's another guy out there who went and visited him at the ranch. The guy's name is Jesse James
West. Yeah. And I watched that. I watched that episode of YouTube. I watched that.
Okay. So I just watched that a couple of days ago, and that's the Liver King I know. Like, he did the Barbarian Challenge with Jesse James. He lost. He congratulates him. They show themselves eating all the meat. Oh, desiccated. Yeah. Thank you. I know. I always want to say defecated, because it's the only word I know. Defecated. The 14-year-old boy in me again. Anyway, it's an interesting time to see. I think we're more powerful as a species, being compassionate rather than aggressive. Not in all circumstances, of course, but I think compassion is a more powerful tool. And I was going to relate this to what you were saying about that book, about putting out in the universe what you want. Like, I want to treat him the way I would want to be treated in this hard time for him. And relative to all the fucking shit that's going on out there in the world, I just think this is pretty fucking minor. And I can still take away a lot of good things, and I can take the high road. And how would I want to be treated? Now, once again, of course, I'm biased because I know him, right?
Yeah, and that's admirable, Sevan. Admirable, for sure. You know, again, I don't hate the guy. I don't know the guy. I've never met him. I can't speak on his character. Right. You only know how he portrays himself on social media. Right. And I mean, again, I just have an issue with honesty. And I think a lot of people feel the same way I do, is like, you know, he lied and he was directly benefiting from that. And so I think that says a lot about your character, you know? And I don't think his message was bad. However, I think there's people putting out way better messages and are honest about it. Like, for example, maybe David Goggins, you know, something like some guy that's fucking real, you know, and is actually telling people to change their life and help themselves. You know, David Goggins isn't leaning on fucking 9 ancestral tenets and eating cow testicles and just doing crazy shit on social media, you know, but people, that guy is actually changing lives and helping people. And he's putting out, you know, a real true message, and he's just not relying on social media and views, and just, he's not attention seeking. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
And so, but I think being compassionate, that's not a bad thing either, man. Like, I see it is a conflation. You know, I see you brought up some very valid points. And again, probably because you know the guy and you actually really know him, and you know, you can probably see what kind of person he is. And
I think about what he did for his kids, basically. And that's the part that breaks my heart, is that so many people are attacking him like that the whole thing is shenanigans, but it's not shenanigans. The origins of it is that he wanted to save his kids, and his passion turned into his business. And then
but I feel like he took it too far. Like, after he saved his kids, does he really need to go do all these crazy things on social media? Did he have to hire a whole team for social media and plan basically everything was planned and calculated, from my understanding? Because I did watch that YouTube video for More Plates and More Dates, you know, and it's like he was a charlatan.
Oh God, I knew I should have ended the show 8 seconds ago.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, I'm joking. Okay. I'm joking, Tanner.
Okay. Did I say something I should not have said?
No, not at all. That was my least favorite part, when they were calling him a charlatan. I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling with it.
All right.
You're good. I love you. You're good. I love you. You're good. I need people like you on the show to talk to me.
I'm not as informed on him as you are. Again, and I've purposely
you will not backpedal.
I haven't consumed as much of his content as you have.
Yeah.
I've only seen what I see, and like, honestly, the guy adds zero value to my life, and I think was very attention seeking. And again, I have the issue with him staunchly denying accusations of steroids, and then it comes out and he's been taking loads of steroids. I'm like, why was he taking those steroids? He was taking that
for the same reason most men take steroids,
to look better. But again, most men don't have multiple supplement companies and aren't selling millions of dollars worth of products, you know?
Right.
So like, that's the issue, man. Like, do you think people would have been buying as many Liver King products had he not looked the way he looks?
Actually, maybe let me go back a step. Probably the vast majority of people who've been on creatine bottles are juiced to the gills, and it's been misrepresented. I remember when I used to go to the Arnold and the Mr. Universe for to film arm wrestling shit, and all those dudes in the book were juiced to the gills, but they're selling you this protein, making you think that if you take it, you're going to look like them. So it's kind of a I am not getting heated. I am chill. I'm chill.
It's very similar, Sevan. Very similar.
Yeah. So if anything, I feel like it's been the same playbook over and over. The part that I give him grace is maybe because I'm mature and I want to look at myself and be like, why would I care if someone lied to me? What is it? What power am I giving to someone else that it makes me judge them for lying to me? I don't know. I want to be more reflective and more compassionate about it. I want to make sure that I'm not putting out anything
and as
negative.
I said before, I think that's very admirable. I think it's very admirable. And you know what? I probably should have said this earlier. If because everyone should be like this. If you don't have anything nice to say about someone, it's best not to say anything at all. You know, and so like that's why I've made those pieces of content, and I won't speak about the Liver King anymore because, again, if I don't have anything nice to say, I probably shouldn't say anything bad about
I didn't think you were mean in them either, by the way. You just kind of had them in the backdrop. You weren't vicious or anything.
No, I'm not. I mean, I was just saying what was on my mind, man. I was just putting it out there. And again, you shouldn't, man, I have better things to do with my time than talk badly about others. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like I said, if I don't have anything nice to say about someone, I probably just shouldn't say anything at all. Cause I want to make sure whatever message I'm putting out there, it's a positive and uplifting message that actually, you know, helps people. And like, dude, there's enough negativity in the world already. And like the world doesn't need any more.
Adam Blakesley, if you bought a Flex magazine in your life, the ads are of juiced up dudes selling supplements. Great argument. Okay. Thank you. Like I said, though, I'm not trying to defend him. What? Say it again. I'm not trying to defend the Liver King. I'm just saying that for our own personal health, as high level human beings, we should be careful about kicking a man when he's down. We should be wise in our steps.
You know, so what we should do is just, instead of kicking him down, maybe just not talk about him.
Right.
You know, that's like that's honestly like, again, I think 2 or 3 years from now, no one's going to be talking about Liver King. People will probably have long forgotten about him. I mean, they'll remember who he was, but I don't think he's going to be a huge talking point, you know, over podcasts or, you know, over people having dinner. That's
Tanner, in full disclosure, the Liver King sponsored this podcast earlier this year. I've talked about this ad nauseum, but about 2 months before we went to Wadapalooza, I sent him a text message and I said, hey, do you want to sponsor Wadapalooza? And he didn't even say yes. He just deposited $20,000 in my PayPal account.
Well, again, I have not had the same interaction.
He's not even on steroids. You know that? He's just that was misunderstood. He's not even on steroids. No, I'm just joking. I'm just saying that because I said he gave me 20 grand. I'm just trying to for 50 grand. He didn't do steroids.
Wait, but did he really deposit $20,000?
Yeah, that story's true. That story's true.
Like I said, man,
you know what I mean? It's like,
you know what's bad.
Oh, fuck you, David. Eat a dick.
I'm guilty.
Now I'm getting heated.
I'm guilty of this as well. Like, there's always two sides to every story, you know? And so you've obviously seen both sides to that story. And whereas I have, and most other people haven't, and it's very easy for us to judge him. And you're right. That's probably not the best thing to do. Like, you know, like I said, if you don't have anything nice to say about someone, it's probably best not to say anything at all. Right. So,
and I don't think, I want to be super clear. I didn't bring it up to like, it's just on my mind because I know him and I like you, and we were just having a conversation, and I don't want you to feel like I accused you of doing anything. I don't think anything you put out into the world, was crazy, like about him. Like you weren't like, fuck this guy, I hope he gets killed. I mean, not even close. You weren't even at the 1 yard line to that. So, but I just wanted to talk to you about it.
Well, you know what, Sevan, this is your podcast. I'm a guest on your podcast, so we can talk about whatever you want. And at the end of the day, man, I'm honored to be here and on your podcast. And like I said, I mean, I have opinions, you know, and I'm entitled to those opinions just like everyone else is. So yeah, you asked me some questions and I just answered them honestly. And
you're putting out a shit ton of amazing content.
Thank you.
I appreciate you for it. And I look forward to continuing our I'm going to go out on a limb here, our friendship.
Man,
maybe me and you are friends.
I really hope we are. We just spent over 2.5 hours talking to each other.
That's more than I'm going to talk to my wife in the next week.
Well, yeah, it's like I didn't know how long this podcast would go. I didn't anticipate it going this long, but it's gone fast. Like I hope I have the privilege to meet you in person one day.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're going to do this again. Tanner, stand your ground, mate. All right, David. He's standing his ground. Shut the hell up, everyone. Leave me alone. I'm processing. One of my friends.
I'm not one to back down, but I'm one to respect other people's opinions. You know, that's fair. Like I said, there's two sides to every story. So, you know, it is what it is.
What time is it there now? Is it 9:30?
It's 9:35.
Yeah, you demand. All right, brother. Thanks for coming on. You have my phone number. Text me anytime. You can't bug me. I do think that you and I just sparked a friendship.
Yeah,
you're a great dude. You're a pleasure to talk to.
I'll be in California next year for sure. I'm going to watch Metallica and Pantera. So if I'm in that part of the world, maybe I'll have to hook you up. I can look you up.
Awesome. All right, brother. All right. Have a good one. Cheers. Thanks for your time. Yep.
Absolutely.
Bye. Bye. That's a cool dude.
He's really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. Anxious to see Jamie Latimer slay the Legends comp. When does that start? Is that tomorrow? I need to get in touch with James Grubb. I was supposed to have him on. Maybe I'll have Jamie on a little bit too. Jamie, do we have each other's phone numbers? I know this is like the 18th time I've asked you this. Does that start tomorrow, Caleb?
I think it starts Friday.
And what's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Friday?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh. Well done. Well, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I'm hurting for my buddy a little bit.
No. Clydesdale says it starts tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Scott. She's driving. Okay. Max push-up contest, Sevan, Hiller, and Tanner. God, I don't know if Hiller's stoppable. Holy shit. You want to hear something crazy? We're going to have Gary Roberts on oh shit. I forgot to tell you guys this. Listen, if you guys sign up for a consultation with California Hormones, you will be put into a drawing for a free level 1, and I'll call the winner on December 24th. Damn it. I was supposed to say at the beginning of the show. I'm going to write it right here really big now.
Susie even reminded you.
Thank you for reminding me. Free.
And we talked about it in our text.
Free level 1. What are the deets for the giveaway? Oh shit, I'm just seeing this. This is a reminder. Damn it.
You got to get a free consult from CA Hormones, right?
Yeah, basically, you just have to go over and sign up for a free. Basically, you need blood work. If you're in California, you can get it for free. If not, you need blood work, and then sign up for a free consultation. Use code Sevan, or you could use Sevan, and get the free consultation, and then you will be put in the drawing for a free level 1. No, it won't be an online one. We'll give you like an in-person one.
You better go in person.
Yeah. No, but Gary Roberts yesterday told me, are you ready for this?
Boy, am I.
He ran a 6:32 mile yesterday.
Shut the fuck up. No way. No way.
I saw some video. He's fucking moving. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Are you sure it wasn't on the same track that you ran your PR 300?
The 330-meter track. Yeah, I can't remember why Alex didn't want to do it. Yeah, 6:32. He said when he started, before he started the California Hormones, he ran a 10. It said 10 something. I'm gonna have him on Friday with me and Hiller, and we'll get him to. I know it's crazy, right, Jamie? It's crazy what a little testosterone will do to you. He seems happy as all get out.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. If you don't follow the Instagram account Going Rogue with Sevan, you should. This is one of the listeners is constantly putting up clips from the show, reels. And it's pretty damn good. I'm in all of them, so of course I think they're all good. But it's called Going Rogue with Sevan, and it's my favorite Instagram account. All right, guys. Caleb, thanks for being on. I was freaking out for a second. I'm like, how am I going to run all this shit? Glad you're here.
I'm testing you for when I am no longer in my equity experiment.
We're gonna have to figure something out. I'm scared to go to the in-person L1 COVID. Alan, always great to see you. Okay, I got to get this call. I'll talk to you guys later.